And first of all, I want to thank Al Ayman, the best manager in the world.
He's the fucking champion of the world! Miguel, man!
...111th episode of the Box Asylum Nuthouse podcast, brought to you by boxasylum.com. It is the 8th of February. I'm your host, Andy Patterson. With me today, I've got Alex Morris, Kurt Ward, Donny Baseball, Kyle McLaughlin, and Adam Smith, freshly back from a stag do. I think we'll maybe just leave all the debauchery stories off air. Adam, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think we'll just go straight in this week, fellas.
But I think you should tell the lads about that round of applause that lady got walking out in front of 30 guys. So I think that was legendary.
Do you want that now?
Yeah, on you go.
Yeah, there was a fella last night who managed to get quite lucky. She was a good pull actually on the mean streets of York town centre. And this morning, as we was waiting to get the coach, 31 of us in total. He was the last out. Obviously, had a busy morning as well as a busy night, and he was forced. There was only one way out of the hotel, and she had to come through the reception of the hotel. Was all in. She got a decent round of applause and a very red face.
A walk of shame, eh?
Walk of shame. I mean, that's a good walk of shame. That.
She's good looking as Frotch's missus, though.
No, sir. There's not many in the world that are as good looking as Rachel, but yeah, she was decent. Good works from one of the lads. Yeah.
Give him a pat on the back from the boys.
Will do.
As you know, listeners, there has been some action. Sadly, I don't think much of us will be able to chat about it because I think we're having the week off, etc. But just run through the scores very briefly. Wang Heng Benathawan, I think I've got that right anyway. He defended his WBC minimum weight title against Jeffrey Galero in Thailand. 120-108, 120-109 and 119-109 across the three scorecards. I clocked into the Sørland event last night from Denmark. A couple of decent fights on there. Alexander Hagen, the upcoming Norwegian light heavyweight, seems to be a decent enough prospect. Abdul Kateb, Kadeb, I think I've got that wrong anyway, but he is from Palestine. He is actually immigrated now or moved over to Denmark. He went 8 rounds with Alexeyev Rubchev, and he tired badly after the 6th round, and basically Kessler's trainer, or ex-trainer I should say, Jimmy Montoya, basically was interviewed after that fight and laid it on the line that the guy needs to start living the life more. And a couple of ex-Olympians on there had some good wins. Anthony Yeggett destroyed Kim Paulson in 6 rounds. Decent enough wee scrap. Other than that, guys, there's nothing really much here to chop up and lick over. So running down past the news anyway, I'm sure we're going to get a wee bit of topic of conversation off this one. Adam's likely to stick up for him and Alex is likely to tear into him. Carl Froch who lauded his world title so heavily, has decided now he's going to vacate his IBF super middleweight title, thereby freeing it up for James DeGale to fight for it. Now, Alex, I'll give you the first dibs on this one, mate. He did say, Froch, that he wasn't wanting to hold up DeGale's career, or he wasn't wanting to kind of basically hold him back. He's done that for the last 6 or 7 months, hasn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, are you sure you really want to start with me? Because this would be a very negative note to start on. But
yeah, I know, but what can we say? I mean, we love a bit of negativity on this show, and then we've got Adam there to kind of lead up a wee bit,
Well, it's just the utter hypocrisy that really bothers me about it. I mean, never mind the fact that he has held James DeGale's career up. He had no intention of fighting James DeGale, and he was hoping to keep his belt. If he really wanted James DeGale to have a shot at the title, he would have vacated at Christmas or in November, when he was already talking about the Chavez fight. Instead, he wanted to hold on to his belt for as long as possible and avoid taking the DeGale fight. But, it's just the hypocrisy that really bothers me. It's the fact that all these years ago, I mean, we're going to get on the subject of our favourite fighter, Joe Calzaghe. Yeah, I mean, we've heard it all before, how Froch bitched about that fight, about how Joe ran off to America to avoid him, how he vacated his belt to avoid Froch, which is complete nonsense. And now here we are, 5 or 6 years later, maybe even 7 years later, in the same situation. Froch is doing exactly the same, vacating against probably a more proven fighter. James DeGale was probably far more proven now than Carl Froch was when Calzaghe supposedly avoided him. And instead of going on to fight a legacy-improving fight, Carl Froch is looking to fight a pothead or a 50-year-old man. And we're supposed to give him credit for this. There's also many other issues of the hypocrisy of where he mentioned in his own autobiography that he would never, ever vacate a world title. He has earned that world title through hard work and grit and being a warrior and all this other nonsense. But here we are. He's been the belt so he can go and fight Julio Cesar Chavez at whatever weight for whatever money in Vegas where no one will turn up because he's a knob.
Summary by Alex there, I must say. But there is, obviously we know Froch has made comments in the past about never vacating his belt. I think obviously his career has moved, his career and moreover his not reputation but standing, if you like, within the game and what he's achieved since those comments. He has vacated the title, and the one negative I can say on it is that now I don't really class him as a world champion because the WBA belt, we know that Andre Ward was the bona fide WBA champion. So, if Ward was still active, then there would be definitely some ridicule to do with the WBA. But with Ward not about, obviously it falls on Froch. I still think that it's okay for Calzaghe to go on an American adventure and vacate the title, but for Froch to vacate the title and go on an American adventure is not okay. Is that right?
Who's Froch fighting? Who did Calzaghe fight when he went over there? Only Bernard Hopkins, who was pound for pound at the time.
Yeah, I'm not
getting the light heavyweight champion.
Go on, Kyle.
Yeah, just to make a quick comment about a minute ago. Alex flagged off Froch using the dreaded autobiography, which, as we know, is not a patch on Carl Froch's diary. But in Joe Calzaghe's autobiography, No Ordinary Joe, which is one ordinary read, he said, "I will never fight he shot." And he did fight Roy Jones. So surely, if you're holding up Carl Froch for hypocrisy and being hypocritical, you should be holding up Calzaghe to the same standards.
Well, my favorite quote, of course, is that of Joe Calzaghe attempting to console his son and said, "Don't worry, son, Roy Jones isn't that good anymore."
But listen, I take both your points. At the end of the day, Alex, he's got a good enough point with what he's saying there. I mean, okay, we all know Jones was well past his best. The Hopkins win, especially over these last couple of years, is just enhanced. And right enough as well as why doesn't Froch continually bang the drum for a rematch with Ward like he did for Kessler? Because he knows he's going to get beat, but then he's obviously the only one to take a fight that he knows he's got a chance of winning. Okay, and that.
So everyone in life wants to do that.
Yeah, but what's the shame in that though? I mean, he's come out and said something that few fight you'll never really hear fighters say. He said, "If I fought Andre Ward again, I'd lose, so I'm looking for a different a different match. I mean,
and he's not only is he going to lose, he's not going to get paid a lot to do so.
Yeah, but I mean, when have you
get paid a lot?
Say that? I mean, that's like, to me, that's the epitome of honesty, and I mean, that's I can't really fault him for that. If he's saying, Ward's the better man, then so be it. Then let's see the next.
When has he ever said that though?
Well,
when
on
has
the
he
BT,
ever
on the
admitted that
BT
Ward would
Sport
beat him?
interview, what I've recommended for the 4th time this year?
I couldn't watch that. It was too bright with all that bling hanging around about him,
And also, why and when has Carl Froch needed to do a favour for James DeGale and vacate the belt?
It's not a favour.
But you were saying he's put James DeGale's career on hold for 7 months. Why does Carl Froch give a shit? Why should he? They're not mates. They're not even really in the same age bracket. They're never really but they've got no history. Why does he need to vacate the belt for James DeGale?
That level.
He had no intention of fighting him.
Yeah, but as long as
This is mandatory.
If he's not being forced to, but I mean, there's all sorts of mandatories. Kell Brook was mandatory to Manny Pacquiao one day. Was Pacquiao going to give up his title? No. Do you know what I mean? Why does Carl Froch need to do a favour for James DeGale? He's in the game, looking after himself. It's no secret he wants one last payday. And I still think if you don't get the Chavez fight, which is, as we've all said, is an easy opponent for a lot of money, I think he'll retire.
Yeah, he probably will.
What about then recently, obviously, as well, as he's come out recently and says that the Hopkins fight, perhaps in Nottingham, is starting to appeal to him, gets the juices flowing, so to speak, but then there's been another comment being basically says that he's not interested in the fight. Hopkins is basically saying he's in a lose-lose situation, but he's in a lose-lose situation if he fights somebody that we know he can beat. That was what Hopkins told Boxing Scene. I don't think anybody, at least I think, is picking Chavez to beat Carl Froch. Carl Froch is looking for an easy way out. Somebody got into his ear and said, don't underestimate Bernard, because Bernard is always good at redeeming himself after a loss and coming back strong. I'm going to be dead serious. I called his bluff. Is this Hopkins starting the mind games already, do you think?
Yes.
Carl Froch ain't going to fight him. He said himself it's lose-lose.
Yeah, of course
it is. I mean, but he said that after he was trying to big up a Hopkins fight in Nottingham, so I don't know what, he's all over the place with it, really. I reckon the negotiations either went sour or he's realised that it's a far more difficult fight for, as he literally said, lose-lose situation.
I think, as we've said on here previously, it's clear that Froch is calling the shots rather than Eddie Hearn.
Said that.
Yes.
I think we've said that before, but yeah, I think he's just going to sit back. I mean, he's going to sit back and see what happens if DeGale does win. If DeGale does win the title in some sort of spectacular fashion, and he might see a couple of openings, then yeah, he could return in the summer. Or because DeGale could easily fight on April the 25th, and then be back in June, mid-June, July at Wembley. It could be on. I mean, there's a lot of options open to him, but more importantly, or most importantly, the retirement option is still open. So he's just sitting back and waiting to see what happens. And there's a lot of fighters like that around the world doing it, sitting out the ring for months on end. Andre Ward, we've mentioned, there's a few people doing it. Froch return against pretty much anyone, especially in this country, and draw big money and obviously pay-per-view. So he's just sitting on what he's got for a little while.
That's my point about why does he need to just fight Chavez. Sorry.
I know what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, if he can make pay-per-view against literally anyone...
but it's HBO, though. It's the HBO element, isn't it?
He's holding out for the HBO day or the pay-per-view day, and he wants to fight in Vegas. I have no problems with that. But, obviously, you need an opponent that's going to sell for pay-per-view and Vegas. Well, who else outside of Chavez could probably do it? Hopkins isn't going to really do it, is he?
Froch is the B-side in that fight, though. Froch is the B-side in the Chavez fight. That's what you've got to remember. If he goes over to America and fights Chavez, he's the B-side. He probably gets less money for that fight. But
less
he's the A-side.
Chavez?
I don't know. I mean, look at DeGale. I reckon Eddie could easily big up a DeGale fight. Easily big that up into a big fight over here. We've got all the gold medal situation, and you could easily make it not a stadium fight, but 15,000, maybe 20,000 people would come watch that just because it would be Froch's last big fight.
But it won't be in Vegas.
It doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Donny. It wouldn't matter who Froch fought. See, Froch just poo-pooed the whole idea about fighting in Vegas. If he was to fight in the UK in his next fight, it would be pay-per-view. Yeah. Regardless of the opponent. So Ethan Hopkins fights pay-per-view over here.
But who gives a shit, though? I mean, what the man wants, look, he's seen guys like Ricky Hatton go over to Vegas and get a big following. Shit,
But he's not Ricky Hatton, though.
He's not Ricky Hatton, but the thing is, he wants to go over to Vegas and have the big fight and have the country behind him, and he goes over and he beats somebody over in America. I mean, that's what the man wants. And he had to watch as like guys like Khan surpassed him, and other major British fighters, and he was sitting there toiling in obscurity, beating tough opponents, but not getting the same recognition as a lot of other UK fighters got. And I think he's earned the right to go over and try to get the fight that he wants now. He wants a retirement fight. This is what he wants. I don't begrudge him it. I think that people that are going crazy be like, well, if he fought DeGale, it'd be pay-per-view in the UK. That's not what the man wants. He's already had that with Groves. He's already had 2 big fights with Groves that have been on pay-per-view. He's filled stadiums in the UK. He wants to go to America. That's his last fight. If that's what he wants, God bless him. He should have it.
And Groves was both fights with Groves were mandatory, I believe.
Yeah, that was 9 months ago, which is the space between mandatory fights. Yep. So, that excuse is sort of worn. My point is about this is, I'm not going to begrudge him what he wants. If he wants to go over there and fight Chavez, have an easy fight, have his big Vegas fight, I'm not going to begrudge him that. But don't try and sell it as like this massive fight for him and this massive important fight, a legacy building fight, a pay-per-view fight that we've got to pay all this extra money for because it's not an important fight.
But it's not a legacy building fight. I think it's just an exciting fight. I mean, I was, saying probably 1 to 2 years ago that I thought that Frost Chavez was one of the best action fights to be made in boxing, and the Mexicans are going to eat that up, and so are the UK because I mean it's a great action fight. I mean, these are 2 guys. Like, you can say what you want about Chavez. You could say he ducked this guy, ducked that guy. He's off with Heyman. He was afraid of Golovkin, this and that, whatever, and he doesn't train. But when Chavez gets to the ring, whether he's trained or not, I mean, that guy goes to war. He likes to fight. He has the fighting heart that his father had, and he may not give it all in training, but he always gives it all in the ring. And when you pair him with Froch, I think that that's a great action fight. And I think that, to me, if I could pick anybody that I wanted to see Froch fight, it would be Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., obviously.
Kurt, you wanted to actually try and even up and get Adam here a bit of a backup?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows I've never been a huge fan of Froch outside the ring, but I'm going to defend him here. People who want to see a Ward fight, let's be honest, why do you want to see a Ward fight? Because you hate Froch, you want to see him lose. I've got no problem with that, but personally, I ain't got no interest in seeing that fight. Shit fight. Hopkins, he's just a grandpa version of Ward. Shit fight. If you look at the alternatives out there, he wants to fight in Vegas, he wants to fight on, HBO pay-per-view, Sky pay-per-view together. Chavez is the only option. It's not great. Chavez won't offer much in terms of, a competitive fight, in my opinion. I think Froch beats him comfortably, but there's not a lot of options. I genuinely believe, I don't know how everyone else feels, if Golovkin was a pay-per-view star over there right now, I think that fight would happen. I think Froch would take him on. I can't begrudge Froch because I've seen who he's fought in the past. I didn't think he'd take the Groves rematch. He did. He won it. So I'm going to stick with him and say he deserves the fight. And I'd like to see the DeGale fight, but if he wants a Vegas fight, I can't really say anything about that.
Did I hear Adam Smith just unzip his trousers there?
Just a personal thanks to you, Kurt.
Me and Adam will be going out to York later on.
What we have to remember as well with Froch, one of his finest hours was in America, but it was shown on tape delay on ITV4 24 hours after he beat Jermaine Taylor. So really, he's put the hard miles in on the road. He's been to Helsinki, I believe. He's been to Copenhagen where he lost. He's been to Atlantic City a couple of times. So I think that for a change, he does deserve to pick what he wants to do. And if it don't turn out and he does go into retirement, then fair dues. You can hate him for his commentary for the next 10 years.
Oh God, his commentary just fills me with dread actually. But the main thing as well is, if he's really hanging on for that Vegas fight, he's really limiting his options very severely. And that being the case, he should just retire. That's just my personal opinion. Just to let listeners know, as we're moving on to the recent situation between Leo Santa Cruz pulling out of the Regondo talks, we've actually interviewed Gary Hyde for 15 minutes, and on the download portion of the podcast, this is where the interview will be getting inserted. Buckstyle listeners, we've got Irish manager Gary Hyde. Now, many people know Gary, who is the manager of Guillermo Rigondo. Gary, last week, or over the course of the last 2 weeks anyway, there's been a lot of kind of back and forth. Leo Santa Cruz has made me very vocal, saying that he was wanting to face Rigondo next after his last fight. He's come out now and stated that $3 million payday is what's required. He's now been practically sold off by Golden Boy to Al Heyman. Can you give us the full rundown as to what's happened here and what happened in negotiation, if there were any talks that were ongoing at the time?
Yeah, well, I never really believed Santa Cruz when he said he wanted to fight. But then Oscar De La Hoya mentioned he put a press release out that he was very interested in making the best fight the best, and in that meaning that he wanted Rigondo to fight Santa Cruz. So he reached out to us and he spoke to our attorneys and ourselves, and all on our side we all wanted to fight. So did Rigondo, of course, and De La Hoya wanted to fight in Golden Boy. But at that stage, Santa Cruz didn't. He went very quiet. He wasn't coming forward and saying he was going to take the fight. And next thing we hear is that Al Heyman has bought out the contract. So that's everything up in the air. Then again, we were in negotiations, talking about a date and talking about purses and stuff like that, and then the carpet was pulled from under us.
What have it reached out to Al Heyman anyway, Gary, to try and get the talks back on the road again?
No, but we'll be reaching out to Al Heyman this week.
Right. Okay. So you are still looking at that fight.
Yes.
If not, if you can't get that fight, obviously it looks like Frampton's he's fighting obviously next month or the end of this month. Sorry. Your own personal opinion is you think Frampton would take the fight, but you think he's been held back possibly?
Yes, he's been protected, of course. Like McGuigan's have protected him, and they have him wrapped up at the moment. And he's not going to fight Rigondo. I mean, he beats everybody else, but he knows that Rigondo is the big master there. That he's not going to take him on.
What about Scott Quigg? I mean, has there been any talks with Eddie Hearn possibly with that one, or is it just a strictly no?
Yeah, but Scott has said as well that he would be interested down the road. No, I know he's out with an injury at the moment, and he's looking at a massive fight with Frampton, which obviously makes more sense for him. Fighting someone like Frampton it's going to be a good fight for him, and it's a fight that he'd fancy himself as having a better chance than he would against as Rigondo.
Just going back to Leo Santa Cruz, Gary, although it's a very light division, basically, obviously it doesn't really get a lot of TV airtime, like obviously in the States, etc. as well. Do you really believe, even though if Santa Cruz was serious about the fight, do you honestly believe that someone would pay him $3 million to actually make that fight?
No. He's like Santa Cruz is the B side of this fight, regardless of who's his promoter. He's the B side of the fight. I mean, he's Rigondo is the main man. And Santa Cruz, then he's the B side of it. So there's no way he's getting $3 million for the fight.
No problem.
Not a chance.
I'm just going to hand you over to my colleague Kyle, who is obviously wanting to ask you about Rigo's future as well. Kyle, mate.
Yeah.
Hello, Gary. Basically, after the Amagasa fight, hello there were some rumours after the Amagasa fight that Rigo had been offered another bout in Japan. Could you elaborate on that? And were there any offers for him to return to Japan? Yeah,
well, right now, Shingo Wake is the guy we were supposed to fight over there. Shingo Wake, they call him. Shingo Wake or Shingo Wake is a super bantamweight over there, and he has said openly that he wanted to fight Rigondo. Now he fights the 27th of February in Tokyo, and if he comes through that and everything comes right, they'll be reaching out to us then, and we'll be reaching out to them as well, of course. And we'd be making a fight here, because there's nothing else for Rigondo right now. There's nobody else out there will fight him, and we have to go to Asia for it.
Thanks for that. That was going to be my next question, because I did assume it might have been Wake. There's been a lot of talk as well about Rigo possibly moving up to featherweight with a kind of rehydration clause. Is there any chance of him where he's not a huge super bantamweight? I believe he only puts on at most £4 after the weigh-in. Is there any chance he might be dropping down to bantamweight to fight possibly Yamanaka in Japan, who's obviously a big star over there at the moment at bantamweight?
Yeah, but Yamanaka said that he might move up as well. You know, so like there might be, but there might be no need to go down. But you know, like everything we have to go where the fights are, and if it means going down to bantamweight, then we can do it. I mean, Regan though, like one of his weigh-ins, he was like 119 pounds, and he said, hey, what went wrong there? You know, so like he just said, oh, I didn't eat the last 24 hours or something. And he was 119 pounds, so he can cruise in at 118. Now, to answer the first part of your question is that he won't be fighting 126. He will not fight 126. Not when I'm managing him anyway. Not on my watch, because he's a small guy. He'll give away, even if he did fight at that weight, he would give away all his power. He'd give away all his, you know, he'd just give away everything if he's fighting at 126. And I'll be keeping it 122. Or, as you just said, down to 118 if there's a fight there.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Gary, just before we move on from Rigo, was there any second day weigh-in at the Amagasa fight? Because the guy was absolutely huge compared to Rigondo, and that says that after that fight as well, is that I think that kind of probably dispels any talk about him moving up to featherweight. Because it says that Yamagata was a very, very big guy in that ring.
Yes, well, Yamagata, it was, I think he was like 16 or 17 pounds heavier than Rigondo on the night of the fight. There wasn't an official weigh-in, but there was a weigh-in that day, but it wasn't official. You know, but he was, I think, 17 pounds heavier than him on the night of the fight. And, you know, like he was 5'10.5". Rigondo was like just tiny next to him. You know, and that's, I mean, when he did get dropped in the seventh round there, when he got caught, he was caught square, and it was like a pole that hit him. The arm was just so long, and he's usually able to get away from those guys, because when he's over that far away from an opponent, they haven't got arms the length of Yamagata, you know. But like this guy had long arms, you know, and he just caught him, and he caught him off balance, and he went down. He was not one bit hurt. Now, in fairness, after that, when they were in a bit of a clinch, Yamagata caught him, and he did hurt him that time. Now, he pushed him to the ground then, so it shouldn't have been a knockdown, but he was genuinely hurt the second time. But the first time he wasn't hurt at all.
Finally, Gary, as well as obviously we talk about Rigo's next fight possibly being in Japan. Is there any future plans, obviously, to bring him to the UK or Ireland again?
Not unless it was Frampton or Scott Quigg,
right.
And not unless any of those two called him out or said they wanted to fight him. You know, that's it. He wouldn't. There's no one else to come back here. I mean, you know, unless there's a local star from Ireland or from the UK, there's no need to bring him back here.
Hey Gary, I just want to know, how frustrating is it to have such a great talent on your hands and the other so-called champions just don't want to get in with him for whatever reason? I mean, it's not a good look for the sport when they just don't want to mix themselves with the best, to be honest.
Yeah, it's actually terrible, you know. I mean, first of all, at the start you think, oh, it's great, everybody's afraid of him, like, you know, but you think there's something going to happen, something's going to give. But then, like, they continue to say that, oh, no, he's not in our plans, he doesn't sell tickets, all this old crap, you know. I mean, how many, like, Frampton's promoter, manager, trainer, and advisor, McGuigan, said that he doesn't sell tickets, and he doesn't sell tickets in Miami, so why would we bring him to Belfast? No, how many tickets did Kiko Martinez sell in Belfast? How many tickets is Avalos going to sell? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you look at the Belfast public who really know the boxing, they would turn out in their thousands, double what turned up for Kiko Martinez if it was a Rigondo fight. This is a major fighter. You know, and like McGuigan to just fob him off like that. I mean, that's the utmost disrespect and disgusting out of him. You know,
it's just excuses, isn't it?
Yes, that's it.
I was going to add to that, Gary, as well. I was going to add to that. Sorry, just to say is that was the same reasoning or the same thinking behind Leo Santa Cruz. He's basically pulled out from the fight because his dad claimed the same thing. He said basically as Rigondo has got a born style, etc. I mean, that is just one way of basically hiding from the fact that your man's basically onto a beating.
That's it. He must have been reading McGuigan's comments, you know. You know, so like, I mean, there was nothing boring when Rigondeaux fought Donaire. There was certainly nothing boring when he fought Yamagata. You know, I mean, okay, when he fought Becco, that was questionable, but at the same time, Becco just didn't come to fight.
No.
He just came. He had so much going on with contracts and disputes and people suing him. He just came to turn up, and he just turned up and got the few bob, and that was it. You know, he didn't come to fight. He wasn't the same like Becco that we say that we're used to seeing. You know, and he felt Rigondeaux's power in the start of the fight, and that was the end of him. He just wanted to survive. You know, and Rigondeaux can't be blamed for that. I mean, small guy, very deceiving because he's so small and he's light looking. So, you know, but when you get punched from him, like, you know, they know, like, they know they're in serious danger. Like, I mean, Donaire said he was never hit as hard as him. He told this to one of Top Rank's right-hand men. You know, he said he was never hit so hard as he was hit from Rigondeaux. And he said it was a stinging, crisp bang, like, and he said he'd never hit so hard. He said he pulled him down to the ground one time. He said he was out that time, you know. So like he just put a masterclass on against one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world, and then Bob Arum knocked him. HBO jumped on the bandwagon, and then you know, it was just they just all turned against him then, you know.
Yeah. Moving on, Gary, obviously a couple of your fighters, Yuri Kalenga, you know, his last fought in November in Canada. One of our listeners was actually asking, you know, about that fight, you know, just to hear your thoughts on it, and apparently as well there was a lot of racism in the crowd as well towards Kalenga. I wonder if you can expand on that slightly.
No, geez, I didn't see anything like that now, right? Racism, I didn't see anything like that. Where would that come from? I mean, with colour or because he was from France? Because like his opponent was he was a black guy as well, you know. So like I didn't see anything at all like that. Nothing.
No problem. Kyle, you wanted to ask about Lebedev.
Indeed, Gary. Yeah, Gary, yeah. I'm a massive fan of the cruiserweight division at the moment. It's on fire. Kalenga is obviously a beast. I read something recently saying you really wanted to get the fight with Lebedev in the States. However, obviously, Lebedev's promoter is a very affluent guy, very rich guy. It might be hard to get it over there. What are your plans to try and make the belt?
Well, you know, the funny thing about this is that we're dealing with two very rich people, you know, like Michael King is a multi-billionaire, and he's Kalenga's promoter. And he's Hassan Nadam's promoter as well. So he has called for an immediate purse bid last week because he couldn't deal with Lebedev's people. So he called for an immediate purse bid, and that's where we're standing right now. There's going to be a purse bid in the next 2 or 3 weeks. There'll be a purse bid for it.
Brilliant! I really hope to see that fight this year. It's going to be a cracker.
Oh, that's going to be a humdinger for sure.
No doubt.
Alex?
Recently this week, I think it was just yesterday or a couple of days ago, we saw Jermaine Taylor get stripped of the IBF belt. We know that another of your fighters, Hassan Ndam, he's the number one spot. He's the mandatory for it, basically. I think he's been ordered that he's got to fight Felix Sturm, but a lot of people are suggesting that Sturm isn't going to take that fight. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah,
well, we know that Sturm has got other obligations. I think that there's definitely talk about a fight with Abraham, if Abraham comes through with Paul Smith in the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So you know, we're being told that he's under the obligation to fight Abraham, and I definitely think that it's going to be a case of maybe David Lemieux or else stepping over him. He's got legal problems with Yvonne Michel. Stepping over him, then Sam Solomon has just wrote to the IBF and said that he's fully recovered now from his injuries that he had in his fight against Jermaine Taylor. So in my opinion, it'll probably be Solomon, you know, because I just think that's where it's going to fall.
What about Billy Joe Saunders? I think he's rated 3rd or something, isn't he?
Yes, well, I think Billy Joe's waiting for the winner of Andy Lee and Quillen. But in the meantime, Frank Warren has just won a purse bid for Billy Joe Saunders defending his title against Michel Sora from France.
Right, okay.
You know, so Billy seems to be tied up now. He seems to have he've at least one fight lined up, and you know the negotiations for this will be closing in the next week. We should by this day week we should know exactly who we're fighting.
Okay, excellent.
You know.
Gary, just very briefly, if you want to plug your other two fighters, are you still looking after, is it Marcos Forstel, the Cuban?
Yes, Marcus fights his debut on Friday night in Queens, New York, in Long Island. So that's his first fight out, and he should, like Marcus he's going to come right up behind Rigondeaux and probably take over from Rigondeaux when Rigondeaux retires. You know, he's at 122. He's a fine stamp of a lad. He's 5'8", great amateur pedigree. In his last, he was a 3-time Cuban senior champion. And in 2013, December 2013, which is only the second last Cuban finals, he beat Robici Ramirez, the London Olympic gold medalist. You know, so like he's as good as he gets now, to be fair, and he's a great kid to work with. He's training with Joe Goosen in Los Angeles, and I'm very, very high on him. You know, my other fighter, my other new kid on the block is Blagoy Naidenov.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Under 19 world gold medalist, under 17 European gold medalist, and under 19 Olympic gold medalist as well. And he's going to fight at a super middle, and he's making his debut in Cluj, Romania, on the 21st of February.
Right. You just stole my last question there. Actually, I was actually going to ask you about Nuthouse as well, Gary. So listen, we really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show once we know what's happening with Rigondou's future.
Anytime, and lovely to speak with you.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Bye bye.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Right, guys, as we all know, a couple of weeks back, Leo Santa Cruz was interviewed after beating up a sparring partner, or I can't remember who it was. Basically interviewed after the fight. Guy actually asked him, how much money would you take for you to fight Rigondeaux? $2 million? And without even, I didn't take a breath or batting of an eyelid, he went $3 million. $3 million, that's what he wants to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux. Not to kind of let off too much as to what Gary Hyde told us just now. We obviously want you to download it and listen to it. He was actually released a statement on Boxing Scene, and he's basically called Leo Santa Cruz a coward. It's really strong words. Also, got a unknown source inside Golden Boy Promotions is basically says that Oscar's been telling everybody possible that he wants Leo to fight Rigondeaux. The source said, clearly that's not on the agenda for Al and Leo, Al being Al Heyman. Al wouldn't make the fight. Oscar wants to work with fighters and managers who want to put on the best against the best and make the kind of fights that the fans want to see. Donnie, give me your take on this recent development. Obviously, I think now De La Hoya's sold off as part of his management contract, promotional contract, whatever it is, to Al Heyman. He's washing his hands. He knows that a fight's never going to happen. What do you think is going to happen next for Leo Santa Cruz?
Some other bullshit fight. Probably another bullshit fight, and then he'll fight Mares, I would say. He'll move up to 126. And the thing is that when he fights Mares doesn't really belong at 126 anyways, but he'll fight him there because he's not a real 126 pounder. It's like, you know, I mean, he doesn't really belong in that division, but Santa Cruz can fight him, and it's a winnable fight for him. I mean, he doesn't want any part of the legitimate contenders at his legitimate weight class, namely Rigondeaux and Frampton. He doesn't want any part of those fights. Now, the thing is that when that lawsuit was settled, Leo Santa Cruz's contract remained with Golden Boy, but he also remained a fighter in the Al Heyman managerial stable. So Leo Santa Cruz had been going on and on about how he really, really wanted to fight Rigondeaux, and that it was just a matter of the business stuff getting in the way. So Leo Santa Cruz was saying that, and Oscar De La Hoya said to himself, well, I know that all these fighters that are technically with Golden Boy, but they're Al Heyman fighters, he knows that they're going to leave him. So he basically called his own fighter's bluff. He said, okay, you want to fight Rigondeaux? I'll start the negotiations. And all of a sudden, Leo Santa Cruz said, oh, shit. they really want me to fight Rigondeaux. I just wanted to say I wanted to fight him. I don't really want to fight him. And so Al Heyman bought out his contract to prevent that from happening. That's just the cut and the thrust of it. That's the only thing that happened was that, and Oscar was smart because he knew that Leo Santa Cruz was full of shit. He knew that Leo Santa Cruz didn't really want to fight Rigondeaux. And so by setting up that fight, Oscar basically forced Al Heyman to pay him. Because in other words, Oscar thinking to himself, well, after this guy's contract runs out, I think it was in August of 2016, he's going to go to Al Heyman, he's going to leave me. So you know what? I might as well send Al Heyman a fighter whose stock has dropped with either losses or inactivity. So he was going to let Leo Santa Cruz in the ring with Rigo. Rigo would obviously beat him. And then Al Heyman would get a fighter back who wasn't worth as much as he was when he, when all this legal settlement happened. So I think that it was just basically a way for Oscar to get himself paid and to also call Leo Santa Cruz out on his bullshit when he says that he wants to fight Rigondeaux because he doesn't.
Well, obviously there was me, Alex, Kurt, and Kyle on the call with Gary Hyde, and I basically put it to him, asked him, says, who in their right mind is going to pay $3 million for a low weight class? And this guy isn't, who was the name of that flyweight again at the end of the first $1 million payday? I forget his name. Michael Carbajal. That's $1 million back then.
Chiquita Gonzalez, Michael Carbajal won. Yeah, they were both really popular though. They were both. I mean, Chiquita Gonzalez was way more popular than Santa Cruz is. He was a star, man.
I mean, no one. I mean, Christ, that fight when they practically need to be pay-per-view to actually even cover those costs. $3 million. The guy's insane. I mean, talk about pricing himself out of a fight.
And $3 million just for one fighter as well. I mean, how much would Rigo have to be paid if Leo's getting $3 million?
Well,
he'd take it cheap. He'd probably take it cheap though, just to get the fight.
Well, what's cheap? I mean, he wanted at least $1 million for that, maybe $2 million. I mean, $5 million in total. That ain't cheap.
No, true.
It's just sometimes this is what gets people pissed off for the sport, and you can see why people just say, this is bullshit and I've had enough. The fact is, I can understand, I think we can all understand, these guys are not, they don't look at Rigo as a winnable fight, as a fight they can make a lot of money, and also basically a guaranteed loss probably, unless they can get a good shot on him. But sometimes you just think, just take him on, win, lose or draw, you're going to get a lot of respect from basically everyone. And if you do get a loss, so what? It doesn't end your career. You can still carry on, and who knows? You might be like the last guy Rigondeaux fought, and give us some entertainment, put on a decent display, and then people are like saying, I want to look forward to your next fight. I just think by just pretending he doesn't exist or making all these excuses, it's just other sports. The best go against the best, and you want to see it in this sport. Obviously, it's not going to happen all the time, but it seems to be less and less now.
And not only that, but the thing is that more than any other fan base, the Mexican fans respect guys who take challenges. Oscar De La Hoya didn't win every fight, but he always fought the best, and that's the reason why he was a big pay-per-view star. Canelo Alvarez took a loss to Floyd, came back, still sold a lot of pay-per-view against Angulo and against Lara. Why? Because they respected the fact that he wanted the best fights. The Mexican fans will respect Leo Santa Cruz if he takes on Rigondeaux and loses. It's fine. But they just want a way to pander to your fan base. I think that, in a lot of ways, Al Heyman doesn't know the Mexican fan base because he doesn't realize that they'll respect him for taking the fight winner.
This is the same.
Go on.
This is when Heyman's bad for the sport, though, because people can harp on about how much he pays his fighters. That's great, but as fans, we don't care about looking at their bank balances. We just want to see good fights. But when you're giving someone like Leo Santa Cruz, $750,000 to fight guys who are just levels below, then it's going to make it almost impossible to make these kind of fights. I mean, why would he fight these guys when he can make a fantastic living? Fighting these guys. I mean, yeah, he might not get the respect of fans like some of the guys Donnie mentioned, but maybe Leo Santa Cruz doesn't really care.
Well, basically, Oscar De La Hoya's came out and basically, this is what he's quoted to Boxing Scene, that this was released yesterday. I was negotiating with Regal's people, which we'll probably hear what Gary Hyde confirmed also to us, because that is the fight that the fans want to see, and that's the fight that apparently or supposedly that Leo Santa Cruz had been asking for. We had a buyout clause in our contract with Leo Santa Cruz, and what happened? They executed the buyout and they bought us out because they don't want the fight to happen. I'm going to continue saying this. I want to put on the best fights, the most competitive fights. Unfortunately, on the other side, that is not the case. You know, there's still nothing coming out from Heyman's side as well, as it's not true. I mean, I've said it before, this guy hates good fights.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else to be added to that, really, is there?
He's got some good ones coming up, though. When it suits him.
Yeah, he does. He does have some good fights coming up. I know that Kyle...
He's tainted them.
I know Kyle...
Sorry, Donnie, go on.
No, I know Kyle's theory, he said on a previous podcast, was like, I think he said, we'll put on a couple of good fights at first, and there'll be like a honeymoon period, and we'll be like, Al Heyman's all right, and then, what's he going to put on after that? So we'll see what happens. I like the first 2 cards he has on NBC. Obviously, those are good matchups. If he continues with that, then I think maybe I'll have to change my opinion. I also think that the fact that he's willing to put up money, his own money, or at least him and his investors' money, to put boxing on terrestrial free-to-air television is a very good thing for the sport. So he has some good aspects going for him, but it all remains to be seen. His track record is bad, but his future prospects look good. So for now, I'm going to reserve judgment on Heyman, but the treatment of Leo Santa Cruz, to me, is really disappointing.
Donnie, I've got a question. For someone like me who's gave up on Leo Santa Cruz's career, and I can't name you the best fighter he's fought, how does someone like Al Heyman make money from Leo Santa Cruz?
Because he's a good ticket seller. I mean, in the reason I think the Broner Maidana fight sold out in San Antonio for I don't know how many people were there, but it was a lot. I mean, yes, Broner Maidana was a good fight, and I think it would have sold a lot of tickets anyways, but I think the reason why I packed the house was because of Leo Santa Cruz. He's exciting.
Cool. He used to be.
Well, yeah, I mean, when he's fighting good fighters, he's exciting. But I mean, the point is that he has a good fan base behind him. Mexican Americans love him because he's an all action, high work rate, exciting fighter. And honestly, even when he's fighting bad guys, I mean, he's still exciting. I mean, you have to admit that, even if you're disappointed with the track of his career, but you have to admit he's an exciting fighter. So,
if he's a really exciting fighter now, listen, I was high on the kid when he was at super flyweight, bantamweight, especially after he beat like Eric Morel and Vusi Malinga down at that weight. Now the thing is, right, if he's that exciting, recently anyway, when I watch him, I actually want to put pins in my eyes. You don't want to do that if he's an exciting fighter.
Well, he's fighting crap, though. I mean, when he's fighting good fighters, it's good, but when he's fighting crap, it's bad. I mean, it's not complicated.
It's complicated. Just fucking get him in a good fight. Right, Kurt. I think we're going to be breaking the boundaries this week. Actually, we're going to be actually getting our quality measures in place because I think we've got the first woman calling into the show tonight. But firstly, I think we're bringing on Paul from First Class Boxing. He has some comments to make on Eddie Hearn and the association with StubHub, which some people have been querying about over the course of the last couple of months. And you probably heard Eddie mention it to us on that interview we did with him a couple of months back. Paul, if you're listening, mate, just if you get a hold of Kurt, we'll get you on very, very briefly. Any luck, Kurt? Is he roaming around there somewhere?
No, I don't think he's here at the moment.
We're going to get Ayesha on then. See what she's got to say. Donnie's really desperate to get this lady on the line. I think you're some sort of creeper.
It's 2 can lovers, isn't it?
Aye, 2 can lovers, aye. It's a match made in heaven, used to, off the way. When you start calling Donnie the Night Stalker. Here she comes. Hopefully. In fact, no, sorry. Aisha, if you're listening, answer the phone. She definitely up for this, Kurt, yeah?
She is.
Oh, she dropped off. Aisha, just join the call, please.
What do we think about Khan's comments regarding Cotto then?
Was she in York last night by any chance?
I'm not happy.
I'm not happy about it either. Donnie, see that comment you said to me earlier on there, by the way, in the chat. I see if I ever meet you, I'm going to actually fucking make you sit there and watch Henry Armstrong.
Hey, I was only kidding with that one. That was.
Come on, then. Tell the listeners what you said. We're waiting on Aisha coming on.
If Khan could possibly jump up to a middleweight and win the middleweight title, would we have to potentially start talking about him in the same sentence as Henry Armstrong?
I went out to get a drink. I missed that. I'm glad I did.
Honest to God, I was like, fucking no, man. I mean, listen, at least Armstrong held 3 legit world titles. Khan hasn't held either.
Yeah, and fought like 50, 60 like top level opponents, beat them.
If Khan fought Cotto on one, I don't think we could do a pod the next night because Danny would just be infuriating.
We've got Aisha.
I said earlier that I'd never watch boxing again if Khan became the lineal middleweight champion. I stand by it. I'd never talk about or watch boxing ever again.
I think I've got her now. Here she comes, I think. Come on, Aisha, just answer the call. Don't get nervous or anything like that. You'll be okay.
Hello? Where is it usually? Yeah, there you go, Alex. Yeah.
I think she's deliberately ducking us. I think she's getting cold feet.
Well, hang on. While we wait for her, I mean, what does everyone think about Khan calling out Cotto at 155? I think that's balls out.
Why is it? Why
he calls out everyone.
Exactly. Why is he not calling out fucking Brook? He calls out Mayweather. He calls
Thurman.
out Pacquiao. He calls out Cotto. Thurman as well. Why is he not calling him out?
He's only calling out the money fights.
It's. I'm really impressed with that call out, though. I mean,
I'm not impressed. It's never going to happen, is it?
Huh?
I'm not impressed.
Happen.
So I'm doing 2 things at once here, trying to get Aisha on.
Yeah, I know.
Or Aisha. How do I say that? Hello.
Hi, have I joined the call?
You have, yeah. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Okay, so be nice, yeah.
I'm being nice.
I just missed some of the conversation because I was trying to join this call.
Alright.
So who's cutting Khan?
Well, you should probably. I don't know if you've heard this podcast for any length of time. Sorry, what's the proper pronunciation of your name? Sorry.
It's Aisha.
Aisha. Right,
Yeah.
Aisha. I don't know if you've listened to this podcast over the years and stuff, or if you've ever heard.
I just started listening to it a few weeks ago.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big Khan lover. I must admit.
Oh, good.
So, but you and Donnie, I don't know if you're married or anything like that, but I think Donnie could be a perfect husband for you. I think because he is the biggest Khanite that I know. He swings from those bollocks.
Why do you Brits hate Khan so much? The Americans love him. He's so exciting to watch. He's been in with really good fighters. Come on, his
technique is sloppy.
How is it? No, see, that's different. You just don't like him as a person, but as a boxer, I think he's really.
No, as a boxer, I can't stand. Sorry, but I'm Kyle McLaughlin, by the way. Nice to meet you. Amir Khan, exciting fighter to watch. Not a particular favourite style of mine. He's very much a modern sort of stylist, all fast hands, no substance, shoe shiner, so to speak. And I just don't like the fact that the only way he can improve himself is to become a very negative, running clinch kind of fighter. And I think basically it's not such his fault that he's not that liked. It's all of his fans that stick up for him and blow smoke up his ass and try and make him out.
Kyle, and how many times?
Here he is.
How many times did he clinch against Alexander?
Oh my, exactly.
He didn't need to clinch against Alexander.
He did.
What?
It's not just that though, Donnie, is it? It's because it's fights like Alexander and Collazo, they get blown out of proportion. Khan is back. He's beaten a past prime fighter who's stylistically set up to make him look good. And when he gets knocked down by Julio Diaz, every so often, out of nowhere, oh, well, Julio Diaz is a banger. He's a past prime lightweight who's chillier than Khan in his prime.
No, hold on. What does Khan have to do to prove himself to you guys? Look,
He'll never will.
He's calling
He
out
never will.
Pacquiao. He's calling out Floyd Mayweather. Now he wants to fight Cotto. What more do you guys want from him? I don't understand.
I'm a fan of his to watch him. But I don't rate him. There's a difference. I was
just going to say, it's one thing calling him out. But it's actually fighting him. I mean, at the end of the day, as well, they're talking about catch weights 155. I mean, can they actually, demean that title any further? This is the lineal middleweight title we're talking about here.
I think it's going to be a dangerous fight for Khan. Yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry.
That's no problem. It's no problem. I mean, obviously, I think well, I would imagine you're also saying people probably hate Khan because of the ethnic background. Do you think?
Yeah, because I've been to loads of Khan fights all over England, up and down the country, and I've heard people myself be calling him the P word and stuff like that. It's not really nice. So
yeah,
I think some of that is just I think it is a race issue for some people, and so for some people I understand is sometimes you can't word things very well. He's not really good with his words, and people think he's being arrogant and stuff. But
Carl Froch has the same problem, but Alex don't let him get away with that. I've got a lot of hate for Amir Khan, and it's going to continue pretty much regardless of what you bring to the conversation, Asher, to be quite honest. It's come for a homecoming fight in having Kell Brook for the best part of 10 years. That was a great idea.
Yeah, but everybody's always rooting for Kell Brook. Well, who's Kell Brook for? That's decent. Only Porter recently, and that's it. And even then, a lot of people think that's not a really convincing fight for Kell Brook. He never convincingly won that fight.
But Amir Khan might have fought some better people, but he's also been knocked out by some better people.
Yeah, but he's been knocked out, but he still comes back.
But Roy Jones got knocked out a number of times, still comes back. Enzo McConaughey gets knocked out a number of times, still comes back. That's not anything to be proud of.
No, I think it should. I think it is. I think it is something to be proud of. Because some people just give up.
They certainly do. If you listen to the podcast from a few weeks ago, Alex Morris had a great rant, and it was titled "Desperate," and it was in regard to Carl Froch and Eddie Hearn chasing the Vegas fight. I think Amir Khan needs to be today is the definition of desperate. He can't get Mayweather in the ring. He can't get Pacquiao in the ring. He's scared of fighting Kell Brook, and
he's not scared of fighting Kell Brook.
Well, why don't he just do it?
Because
why don't he get paid $5 million? Why don't he get paid $5 million and then bring to the negotiation table for a the end of the year fight with Mayweather? He can bring the IBF title to the table for Floyd Mayweather.
Why should he give the satisfaction for Kell Brook?
Well, because there's a couple of reasons. There's a title, which Amir Khan does not own.
Just jump in here.
Amir Khan does not own a title, and there's also $5 million which Amir Khan does not actually own at the minute. So that's two pretty big reasons.
Yeah, I know. I think it's an easy fight for Khan. I think.
Well, take it then. So that's 3 reasons. It's an easy fight. It's on pay-per-view. He's going to get paid loads of money and a title. That's 3 reasons. That's good.
It's just why should we give Eddie Hearn and Kell Brook this? The easy route.
Well, just go and give it to a bloke. Just go and give it to over-the-hill Devon Alexander instead for less money and no title.
Donnie, and you come.
Amir Khan has gone and fought 10 either reigning world champions or former world champions in his career, while Kell Brook has fought 2. One of them being Porter, the other one being who's the guy that beat Hatton in the
Senchenko, the all-time great.
Beat Hatton.
Kell Brook has fought Senchenko and Sean Porter. Right?
Yeah.
Now, while he's been running through this gauntlet of tough opponents, Kell Brook has sat there and fought the likes of Carson Jones
twice.
Twice because the first one wasn't convincing enough. I mean,
different career trajectories.
And so now Kell Brook deserves a £5 million fight.
No. Amir Khan's going to get paid $5 million.
That is a joke. All right, Kell Brook needs to prove himself, and he might say, "Oh, I'm a world champion." Well, you know what? Belts these days are a joke. Belts anybody.
As are Amir Khan's. As are Amir Khan's.
Pardon?
Khan has never. If Cal Brooks' belt is a joke, then so's Khan. Khan has never been a legitimate number one in a division. So by default,
look, the man unified at 140, and then
He didn't
unify.
Hang on,
He didn't unify.
He unified 2 belts at 140, and then he offered. He was so desperate.
Wait. Listen, let's get the facts straight here. He offered Adam, go and mute me. You're eating, mate. Annoying that.
I'm enjoying my figure, Jim.
Aye.
I'm enjoying.
Say right now.
Mute off, man.
Wait now. The Bradley fight. How come Khan offered him that fight when he knew Bradley was in the legal dispute with Gary Shaw?
What the hell does that mean? Like, he offered him 50% of the UK pay-per-view.
Doesn't matter. He couldn't make the fight. He couldn't make the fight because he was tied up in litigation.
Yeah, well, I mean, he still has to offer it to him. I mean, if he doesn't
still has to offer it, but that's fine then, but he didn't fucking fight him. So he didn't unify a division. Unify 2 belts that are worth fuck all.
Unified means you got 2 belts. Undisputed means you have them all.
The only one that matters is when you beat the number one, and I think most people would assume that Bradley was number one.
Bradley wasn't number one in my
opinion.
opinion.
It was unclear. I mean, there was no lineal champion.
They were 1 and 2, weren't they? They were 1 and 2.
If Khan and Bradley fought, there would have been a lineal champion, but there wasn't one. But anyways, I think the real... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Aisha.
No, I just want to ask the pod, like everyone on the, who do you think Khan should fight next then? Except for Cal Brooks.
Brooke.
No.
Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman. No, Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman all the way.
I think it'll be a rematch with Malik Nagy next, I think.
He'll get chinned as well by Thurman, badly. He'll get chinned by Keith Thurman.
That's why he's not calling Thurman out.
Realistic though, it's tough to see who he faces next.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Sergei Kovalev.
I'll watch him every time. I'll always watch him.
Yeah, but he's only exciting because he's so vulnerable. That don't make him a good fighter because he gets knocked out and he gets knocked down. It's exciting, but that don't make him a good fighter.
He is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, but he's not as great as his fans make him out to be.
Correct.
That's because everyone keeps dissing him and we have to stick up for him. And it's just.
Hey, Aisha, may I ask you a question? Do you think that Khan? No, I will. Honestly, 100%. I'm not a mean guy. I'm not here to make you look to belittle you. You could just honestly, Donnie, don't laugh.
Yeah.
When Khan was in the Olympics, do you think that he was a good technical boxer?
Do I think it was? Well, he won it. It's all about the Olympics. Come on.
I think what
a lot of people assume.
I think what Kay was getting at basically is the fact is, what he said beforehand, he's a shoe shiner, basically is what he did as an amateur, basically kind of like these quick flurries to score points and get out of distance. That is what he did when he turned pro. Obviously there's been, if you look at the Peters knockout, he was throwing an uppercut square on from distance, and he got chin with the left, took over the top.
Are you talking about Garcia?
Sorry, who did I say? Well, anyway, Garcia, you don't know what I'm talking about anyway. Sorry, the Garcia fight, sorry. And you've seen what Hunter's did slightly. I mean, the only thing what Hunter's done is he's kind of tightened up his defence a little bit, but he's still got that vulnerability, I think. And if you drag him into something, he is going to open himself up and he's going to get chinned again. And I think Thurman could be the man to do it. I agree with what Kyle said there.
I think a lot of people assume because he was a very successful amateur, that means he has to have this potential to be this flawless pure boxer. And he is never going to be a flawless pure boxer. He can tighten up the holes, he's done so, and it's impressive. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and slang him off and say it's not impressive to dominate Devon Alexander. But it's being made out like he has turned the corner and now he's some kind of pound-for-pound talent that is going to be the man to beat Floyd Mayweather. And personally, I don't agree with that.
No, I think... Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. I don't think I just think he might be. He's got more of a chance than any other boxer to beat Floyd because he's faster and he's speed, and his combinations. And a lot of people said he's got the fastest hands in boxing. Come on, that must mean.
Does he have the timing? Does he have a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Does he have the timing to beat? Does he have the timing to beat Floyd Mayweather? Not saying you, Aisha. Not saying you.
Timing only matters because if I land 3 punches to your 1, I'm winning the exchange. The timing matters if you can hurt me, right?
He'll
Because
get chinned in the exchange.
If
He'll
you're
get chinned
if
by
your one,
Mayweather.
if your one punch matters more than my 3, then you can do it. But Floyd doesn't hit hard, especially at 147, especially late in his career, especially with brittle hands. He doesn't hit that hard. So you can tell me all day, oh, Floyd has timing. Floyd will time him on the
You're
way
saying
in.
Floyd could not knock out Amir Khan?
No
He
way.
has way more power.
No
Yes,
fucking-
definitely.
Wait
Julio Diaz sat him on his arse.
just now. You fucking
Go on,
coward.
man.
You coward, Donny. You know where I'm going with this. I'll offer you a straight up bet that fucking Floyd Mayweather would knock out Amir Khan, right? And you fucking ducked
But
it.
you
No,
said he would beat him. I didn't take
no,
that.
no. The bet was that Floyd would knock him out. I didn't say that he'd beat him. I said he would knock him out.
I would take
You
that
said
all-
no.
Oh no, because I said I didn't want to take it because you wanted to include cuts, and I said I didn't want.
Wasn't fucking. It was a clean knockout.
No, I'll take that any day of the week, Andy. If you want to take that, yeah, no way. He doesn't knock him out.
Yeah, it was not going to happen now. That was 2 years ago. I offered you that bet, you coward. Aisha, sorry, we were kind of rambling on there. Anything else you want to ask before we let you go?
Yeah, I just wanted to know about everyone's favourite boxers. Who's everyone's favourite boxers?
Active or all time?
Okay, we do one all time and we do 3 active.
Right, my all time favourites were Roberto Duran, Nigel Benn, Salvador Sanchez. Current favourites, Roman Gonzalez, Nayu Inu, and probably Sergey Kovalev. I need more time though. Kyle.
All-time favourite, Matthew Saad Mohammed. If you don't know Aisha, check him out. He was a really exciting heavyweight champion from the late 70s. He was a bit like Amir Khan, but he had a great chin and he could throw a proper punch. My current favourites would be Roman Gonzalez, obviously one of the best flyweights at the moment. Probably Gennady Golovkin, who obviously you know. And a guy who's coming up the ranks who I've been a fan of since he was an amateur, Alexander Usyk, who's going to be the next great heavyweight champion of the world.
Adam.
That Nottingham Warrior Carl Froch.
Oh.
Golovkin, definitely Golovkin. And of my all-time don't go that far back, so it's probably either Ricky Hatton or Diego Corrales.
Donny, we know what yours is. Amir Khan. So no point asking you.
Well, yeah, but I'm supposed to name a few.
Right,
all right, so
Amir Khan.
Haroon Khan.
Haroon Khan, yeah.
No, I would say my favorites are Amir, obviously, Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, and Roman Gonzalez. And also to honorable mention, Arrigo. I used to be really, as we say, butthurt about the Donaire, because I was a huge Donaire fan. And I was really, really sad when he got beat down by Rigo. But I got over that, and now I'm really disappointed the way that Rigo's been ducked by everybody. I think he's clearly like one of the best fighters in the world, and it's really upsetting to me that he can't get the fights to prove that he is. So all time, Ali, Arturo Gatti, and Marvin Hagler, I would say, are up there. And before Aisha goes, I want to ask her what she thinks about the Billy Joe Saunders taking the step-aside money, because I know that I think, Aisha, you're a Saunders fan, is that right?
Yeah, I like him. Yeah. I think he's good. He wins either way because he takes the money, and then whoever wins out of Lee and Kid Chocolate, then so whoever wins out of them two, then he'll fight the winner. So I think it's a win-win situation. I think he's done a good thing and take the money.
Good shout.
Yeah, so that's it. I don't know. And also Kurt Woodhouse's comments about Khan's racism. Like, a lot of people don't like him because of the racism. What do you guys think of that?
That angered me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Curtis Woodhouse.
Khan's racist.
Someone have the quote.
No, saying he's getting hates because of his ethnic background.
To be honest, I don't like that, because I think, if some people on the pod, for instance, don't like Khan, it automatically bunches them in with, they don't like him because whether he's, religion or his race. Some people just generally don't like him because they think he's a bit of an idiot. Same with Carl Froch, same with James DeGale.
Nassim Ahmed.
Yeah, any white, black, Asian, whatever. There's always going to be people who are perceived as a bit of an idiot at times. With Khan, I think his mouth, as Aisha said earlier, he does get himself in a bit of trouble. I've said before that maybe people should monitor his Twitter tweets before, because he just says some things that gets me into trouble. Again, obviously, there's going to be some idiots out there who don't like him for his religion or whatever. They're just morons. But I think a lot of it has to do with what he says as well. And for the people who don't like him because of his race and whatever, are they worth even bothering about?
Yeah, that's true.
Boxing brings out that sort of tribalism, doesn't it? And it's a shame to see that a lot of people get into that and really sort of hate boxers and hate each other for that. And I think it's just disgraceful when it should really be, you're fighting about, talking about fighting and things like. I mean, I wrote something about personality of boxers. I think that does matter. We all get involved in the personality, but race isn't something you can help. Your religion isn't really something you can help. So I think hating a guy because of that is just fucking ridiculous.
Because boxing is sorry.
Aisha, just before we let you go, I've got a question for you, and then after that we'll need to let you go. Have you had any Skype calls with Amir Khan?
No. that's deep.
I bet it was.
That's deep. No, I'm not gonna. That's so bad. No.
Donny has. He said it was good.
Excellent. Cheers for that, Aisha. Thanks again. Hopefully call in again.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. Thanks.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Coming up next, I think we've got Paul coming on from First Class Boxing, and then we'll get on to the Twitter questions, quite a few of them this week actually. And as well, we've got a discussion on close and controversial scoring in some fights. So hopefully you've got your lists all made up. I've got Paul coming on shortly. Just wait for him to come through. Is he ready to go, Kurt, yeah?
Yeah, he's just tried calling me. So many people try calling me and I tell them they have to add to the call.
I should have asked Aisha who she was supporting at Wembley when she attended for the Froch Groves fight last year.
George Groves, I think.
Yeah, I think she's a Groves fan, I think she is.
Not anymore.
She made history tonight anyway. That's the main thing. So we're bringing on that equality barrier, We don't discriminate. Everyone gets a fair shake, as we keep saying. We seem to be kind of missing out on Paul for some reason. He keeps dropping off the call. Same problems we had with Aisha.
Yeah, he's just tried to call me, but I've added him. He has to join our call instead.
Right, Paul, if you're listening to me, I've tried to add you to the call. If you're seeing it, just click on the green sign that just says join call.
Paul's been on before, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it has been.
There he is.
Oh, we've got him. Paul, you there?
Yeah, guys, how you doing?
Not bad, mate, not bad. I thought we were going to lose you there. I believe you've got some comments on Eddie Hearn and the association with StubHub.
Yeah, it was just sort of to get your guys' feedback, really. I mean, I did an article on it the other day, obviously about the partnering up between Matchroom and StubHub as their sort of official ticket outlet. I really can't stand the likes of StubHub and what they do in terms of the secondary market. And obviously Hearn has been critical of them in the past. So just to see whether you thought it was a bit more sort of Hearn hypocrisy or whether it doesn't really matter.
Well, to be honest, I haven't really been following the situation. I don't know if anybody can remember our conversation with Eddie in regards to StubHub. So someone did ask the question. My personal opinion, I think tout websites are complete screws. I mean, if you think about it as well, how many of the Groves Froch rematch tickets ended up in StubHub?
I mean, there were thousands on there, and people were selling. I mean, your 30, 40 quid tickets were going for £100 plus, and like I said, I mean, I've got no problem with people reselling tickets and no problem reselling at face value. Sometimes you buy tickets for an event and you can't go, or whatever reason, you're ill or whatever. But people are now just buying it for the sole purpose. And it's not just boxing, but it obviously does affect boxing. Even things like not for sold out events. So when tickets went on sale for the Brook fight, for example, that fight's only done 7,000 tickets. but there's already hundreds of tickets on StubHub in the better locations. And it does make you wonder sometimes, obviously, because of the potential profits within them, what fighters are doing in terms of are they selling them on, and obviously Matchroom are endorsing what this company's doing.
Just a correction, the Kell Brook fight in Sheffield sold out in 48 hours as promised.
Yeah, I'm just also going to say there as well as that Kurt actually pointed me towards the website. I see they're now officially a sponsor of Matchroom Boxing as well, StubHub. And obviously they're getting advertised at last week's event as well.
Yeah, I mean they've been involved with Anthony Joshua for quite a while, and in terms of what it's important to make the distinction. In terms of what Matchroom are doing on the site is perfectly fine, as in they're selling face value tickets and they're using them as an outlet. But it's the fact they're using them as opposed to the many, many other options they could have gone down. And the reason being is because StubHub, they sponsor and they actively try and sponsor a lot of different things. So World Boxing News, which is about to relaunch, is going to be sponsored by StubHub. Half of that page is going to be full of StubHub tickets. And I think as a fan, which at the end of the day we all are, we might write, and people have sort of said to me, well, you don't pay to go to shows, and that's true, but I do pay to go to other events, not just boxing. And the fact that you have to fight to get tickets with people who have got no intention of going is very frustrating.
Do you think that maybe, I'm not making any accusations here, but we're just basically, just theorising here, but do you think maybe Matchroom are maybe handing StubHub some of these tickets under the counter, so to speak?
Well, I mean, they've always sort of said they don't do that and they're always against it, but I mean, it's not just, obviously, I don't imagine that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom do it, but if you're a fighter and you're given 100, 200 tickets to an event, you could try and shift them all, or if it's a big event, you can stick half of them on StubHub, make a damn sight more money for yourself. You're still going to pay the promoter and get the money that you need. And it is a bit not sort of getting conspiracy and thinking that's what's happening, but the big problem is ticket touting. Like when I started going to fights years ago, there'd be people stood outside the arena trying to buy and sell tickets, and they were the sort of you standard sort of ticket touts. But now it's people who are doing it online, people like me or you, who are just going on 9 a.m, tickets go on sale, right, I'll buy 4, or people that use the Matchroom Pass, so they'll spend 30 quid a year for that, but then they're going to get the premium tickets early. And it's not as though it's 1 and 2. I mean, the example I used in the article was actually an NFL game, and out of 500 and something blocks at Wembley, there were tickets available in 480. So this isn't just your premium stuff, this is any ticket in the arena someone can get their hands on, they're willing to sell on. And I think those businesses exist, they're legal, they're perfectly acceptable in terms of the law, but I just don't think that websites or the likes of Matchroom should really be endorsing what they do.
No, I don't think so as well, especially if you're paying over the odds. I mean, I'm always a firm believer of if you've got a ticket and the face value is £100 or whatever it is, or $100, that's what you sell it at, or you give it away, or you take a reduction on it. Now, when I tried to get tickets for the UEFA Cup final back in 2008 for Rangers Zenit St Petersburg, and I was getting charged £400 for a face value ticket, which was £55. And I didn't pay it. And that was to see my boyhood club to go and watch them in the first European final for 40 years. And I said no, I knocked it back. £400, it's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, and it happens for all sorts of things. So, I mean, and again, I'm stupid myself. So I bought, I had tickets for Frochgroves too. I bought 4 tickets, and I ended up going as part of the website, so I needed to sell them. So I sold them to my friend for face value, but I could have made 300, 400 quid on those tickets. But it's that moral line, and it's sort of the ethical line. It's the same with football, with music. You want to buy tickets for V Festival, they sell out in 2 minutes, and then within 10 minutes, thousands are on these sites. And it's only because in several interviews, Hearn has said that he doesn't like the practice, or he said that after Frochgroves 2, people were phoning him up saying, oh, I bought this ticket off StubHub, but the seller didn't really have it, and all these real legitimate problems you can have with this kind of website. For them to sort of wholeheartedly endorse it, I think is it's a poor move by them, but they're going to make a lot of money out of it. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paul, we've reached out to Eddie and Matchroom again to get them back on the pod. I think once we get that confirmed, we'll give you a shout, and we'll maybe put that to Eddie again. I'll need to go back and listen to the previous interview again about the StubHub connection, because there was a connection between StubHub and Anthony Joshua, I think the question related to as well, so we need to think back to that one. And if we get him back on, we'll certainly put this to him as well.
Yeah, and I think there was a good one. Is there's the interview with Hearn with Coogan just after Froch Groves, literally the morning after, when he talks about it quite extensively, and those are sort of good examples to put to him. But like I say, it's not a beating matchroom thing, because other companies do it and other websites do it. I mean, at my site's very small, and we were approached by StubHub to advertise tickets on the website, and that's how extensive that particular company is. So they will literally go for anybody that's willing to stick an advert on the webpage.
Interesting. Anything else, Paul?
No, just a quick thing on the Khan thing. It's a very, very touchy issue, that the racism. I mean, I've been to a lot of Amir Khan fights, and the atmosphere at certain Khan fights has been pretty horrible, and it's
poisonous.
Yeah,
I was at the Salita fight, mate. I was in amongst some of the fans, and it was poisonous. I mean, I've been to Old Firm derbies where I've seen guys getting stabbed and bottled in the street sometimes. This was something else. There were undertones in there I just was not comfortable with. No, I mean, again, I was there as well, so I was in Newcastle for that, and I was at Khan Kotelnik and Khan Barrera, and I tell you what, at Khan Barrera, there were more people there cheering on Barrera than you listen to the videos on YouTube with the big entrances, and you hear who's getting cheered in. And I say with Amir Khan, the problem is it's the people around him as well as what he says. So his team have caused Khan a lot of his problems with the moves off Sky Sports onto prime time and various other things. But unfortunately, people will also get there is a real issue with certain members of the crowd who are only there to see him knocked out. And not all of them, but a small percentage of them, it is a race element. The Salita fight, it was horrendous. And also a lot of Khan's fans are very sort of hardcore fans. And they rock up and they've got the Pakistan flag, and that's fine. But it does create in the crowd. I was there for Khan Barrera. The guys put the flag up, and there were a load of guys on my block just started shouting and abuse him. And it is a problem that Khan has. He's an incredibly great, inciting to watch fighter. No, he's not a pound for pound fighter. He's never going to be. But I don't miss Amir Khan fights. He's brilliant to watch, and he's exciting to watch. And I think we should get behind him more than we do.
He doesn't give us much ammo to get behind him, though, does he? When he sods off to America for years on end, comes back, fights a Mexican taxi driver in Sheffield. It don't really help himself. He's been a PR disaster for years, and he continues to be so.
He has been.
Why is he like somehow selling out England if he goes over to America and looks for big fights? I mean, Steve Wellington.
Yeah, but he's been over to America, been beat in big fights, and then comes back and still expects people to love him. In England, more than anywhere else, everyone wants to know you when you're winning. When you're losing, nobody wants to know you. So it don't matter if it's Amir Khan or if it's anyone else who's gone over. Gavin Rees, who's gone over, been bombed out, or Lee Purdue, whoever's been over there, they come back. I know that obviously them examples are nowhere near Amir Khan's level or fame, but you're easily forgotten. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he's still a very...
Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say, he is still a very big draw, and even though when he fought McCloskey all those years ago, 15,500 people were at the MEN, he did sell well in Sheffield, and the ticket prices were insanely expensive for the fight that it was. So he's still one of the most recognisable names in the UK, but he's never going to have the popularity of Hatton, Calzaghe, people like that, because, like you say, there's been several mistakes made over the last few years. He has been shown up in a couple of fights. He's lost some very big fights. But in terms of a Khan Brook, who is the bigger name on that fight? 100% Amir Khan.
I agree. I think it is Amir Khan, the bigger name on the fight. But Kell Brook brings the title to the table.
The title doesn't matter, though.
No.
To be real, the title is insignificant.
It'd be good if it did matter, but at the moment, with the way that things are and with the recent new additional belts and everything else, the fact that Brook is a world champion doesn't make any difference. Khan has fought big fights in America. To an American audience, he brings a lot. Brook doesn't bring anything. And I think that's why Hearn's desperate to get this fight on. And he said, I've interviewed in the past, and he said it is his number one priority out of any fights to make. It's way above Frampton, Quigg, or DeGale Groves. His number one priority is Khan Brook. Maybe because he thinks Brook wins, but also because he knows that Amir Khan, Carl Froch aside, is the biggest name in boxing in the UK.
Where comes the situation when Khan will accept to fight Brook then? Because as I've said, I think that Amir Khan will go out his way, even if he thinks that a fight he can win, even if he's going to get paid a lot of money, I think Amir Khan will go out his way not to fight Brook. So where does the situation, if we're saying titles don't mean anything, of which I agree with in the main, where comes the situation where Brook and Khan get it on? Because it's a fight we all want to see.
Yeah, Khan fights Brook when he decides that's the fight that he wants to do.
So, i.e., when he gets beat by either Pacquiao or Mayweather and needs to come,
yeah, I mean,
to salvage his career.
Yeah, but again, as Hearn said the same thing. If Khan goes and gets knocked out Khan doesn't get knocked out by Mayweather. He just doesn't. No. But if Khan loses 120-108 to Mayweather, like a lot of people assume will happen, then he can still come over here and he can still have a big fight. If he fights Brook and loses, as Hearn said, where does Khan go then? Now, Khan is calling himself into a position now where the three main names that he's looking at, he's not going to fight Miguel Cotto, he's not going to get Floyd Mayweather. Out of the three, his biggest hope is Manny Pacquiao, and that's the worst fight stylistically for him. I think Pacquiao drills him. So he will corner himself, but he's got so much money that if he doesn't fight in May, it just doesn't matter. He'll fight in the summer. I think he will fight Brook eventually. This isn't. A lot of people compare this to Hatton Witter, but it's not the same situation. I think the profile of both fighters is so much bigger than what Witter's was. I think this is a much bigger chance of happening than that particular fight, so it shouldn't really draw that comparison. But I think if Khan fights Brook, I haven't even decided who I think would win that fight. I think Khan would go into it as the betting favourite, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know what you guys think.
I think Brook beats him, but I mean that's an obvious answer from me.
I think he does as well. But there we go. Yeah. Anyway, Paul, thanks for that, mate. We'll need to let you go. We need to get on with the Twitter question. I think we've got another caller coming on as well, but thanks for that input. As I says, if we get Eddie Hearn again, I'll get in touch with you as well.
Nice one, guys. Cheers for that.
Cheers mate. Thanks. I think we've got one more caller coming on. I think it's Rob Palmer. And then after that, it'll be the Twitter questions. Is he around, Kurt?
Just adding him now.
Does anyone not think there's an outside chance that Khan could still fight Mayweather on May the 2nd?
No. I still think it's possible.
No. I do.
No, I mean, it's gone so quiet on it that I think they're either trying to keep it on this sort of quiet on purpose, or there's nothing happening.
Pacquiao falls through.
Say what? Did you just say something there? Did you just speak?
Whoa.
Did you just speak about something we weren't going to discuss?
What if Fighter B falls through?
No, that's not what you said, Donny. You're on mute for 10 minutes. That's your fucking punishment. That is your punishment. Do not fucking dare talk again about that fucking fight.
I didn't even use him in the sense.
Donny, you were saying on the chat that you think Khan would beat Golovkin via decision. What are you talking about, mate?
I didn't say that. Bullshit.
Yeah, you did. You said that he got a better chin than Triple G.
Well,
mate.
While we're waiting
Quickly, mute him.
Aye, we're going to mute him. I need him for this question because I need to put him this question to him. That is the rule here. Anybody talks about fighting any fighter B, the fight itself on here gets muted for 10 minutes as a punishment. Because I've told you before, when I host this shit, you do not talk about that fight. And I've told Steve Wellens when I go away on holiday in a couple of weeks' time when he hosts, if he allows that to happen, for you guys to discuss that fight, he's getting fucking banned for a week.
Wasn't it the other week, Randy, where you had technical problems for like 2 minutes and Steve went nuts and started to keep repeating it?
Donny initiated that. Donny initiated that, fucking prick. Anyway, Donny, Aisha's actually asking a question here. What do you think of comments about people not liking Khan because of his race? Give me your take on it while we're waiting on Rob Palmer joining the call.
Didn't we already just discuss that? I mean, look, the thing is that, of course there's going to be people that feel that way, but, he's also got a big mouth, and, like you said, I think people around him don't necessarily, give him that, reality check that he necessarily needs. I think Alex said it best when he said last December, right? When everyone was talking about him fighting Alexander, and then he backed out of the Alexander fight, and he thought he had the Mayweather fight secured, and he was talking like he deserved Floyd Mayweather, after only having been, knocked out, only a year before. Somebody turn off the phone. Basically he thought he deserved a fight with Mayweather, a year ago, when he, honestly, in my own personal opinion, he didn't deserve the fight at that point in time. But he thought he did. And when he started talking about how he thought he deserved that fight, it pissed a lot of people off. And a lot of people went off of Amir Khan for that reason, and they started to hate him. So that's a legitimate reason to not like him. There's also another element, a separate, completely different element that doesn't like him for his ethnic background. Those people should be ignored, and they're not boxing fans. They're racists, and they got no place in the sport. But I mean, there's, people, basically what, as Kurt was saying before, there's people that don't like Khan for his race. There's people that don't like Khan because of his big talk, whatever. But those people should be kept in a separate box, and we shouldn't be merging them.
Well, the thing is, I don't think Khan's helped himself in the past with this. The comments of if I was white, I'd be a superstar, etc. And that, just things like that grate on the wrong people, and it's ingrained in their mind for years to come, basically.
Yeah.
Bernard Hopkins.
Similar to Hopkins, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Rob Palmer on the line. Rob, we're getting a lot of feedback off your line, mate.
Is it pretty bad?
Yeah, we're getting a feedback off that still, yeah. Well, it's just when we speak, we can hear you in the background there.
Alright, I'll tell you what, I'll call back on a different device.
Right, no probs.
Alright.
Next question, Rocco, Alex. In 1999, Nas and Floyd were £4 apart. Nas said in recent Boxing News pod that if he'd fought, he'd have won. Give me your thoughts.
I don't think we can answer that question because it relates to another pod that got banned last week, so I'm not sure.
Banned?
Well, Steve said that he listened to it and he got reprimanded by Andy.
I asked him if he actually listened to other podcasts, and then Kurt says, bin him, chuck him off the call.
Well, obviously Nas is going to say that he was going to beat him. I think Floyd at 130 and 135 was a completely different fighter than he is now. He was a lot more explosive, a lot more powerful, and I think for Nas to go up to those extra pounds would have been interesting to see how it would have affected his chin. Maybe I think it would have been a great fight, but for him to say that he would have won that, I can't really agree with it, because although most of us are big proponents of Nas, Floyd was something different then. He was something extra, and I think Nas really never beat anyone of that sort of caliber, so it's difficult really to say, but it's an interesting comment that Nas made, I suppose.
Floyd actually calls him out after the Corrales fight. He says, let's do it. I think he said he fought him at £128, but at that point Nas was already cutting weight, so he wasn't exactly smaller. Obviously he was shorter. He always had thick legs, but he wasn't a small guy. And Mayweather famously, I don't think he cut any weight really, made super feather. He probably came in around the lightweight limit. He's always been a pretty small guy. Mayweather would have spanked Hamed badly, I think. He wouldn't have knocked him out. Nas was nails. He got knocked down a lot, but that's because of balance. But my word, Floyd would have just toyed with him badly, I think. It would have been.
He was something different back then, wasn't he? He was such a powerful fighter and just knocking guys out for fun almost. He was. The
Corrales win, mate, I still maintain. I've not really got a lot of Floyd Mayweather fights on my external hard drive, but the Corrales fight I do have. That was probably the best of Floyd. He was aggressive. Technical wise, brilliant. Defence, brilliant. But it's a fact is he actually went on the front foot and took it to him, put a beat down on him, and actually broke him apart. Just dropped him, was it 3 or 4 or 5 times or something, and then just basically made him, I think he'd knocked him out in the 10th round or something. That was just to me, if Floyd kind of continued fighting like that, he might have had to, made a fan out of me or him. But I just think the way it's just transpired, he's obviously very, very cautious. So that's what it is with that one. But who we got? Marcus Bellinger. Kurt. Marcus Bellinger's asking, has scummy Al Heyman taken Don King's #1 spot and having the WBC in his pocket? I think they actually released a statement last night, or something relating to the lines of this fight between Garcia and Peterson, I think it was.
Well, Al Heyman's already on most people's bad books because of all the mismatches and the, when a guy signed. Look at Stevenson. As soon as he signed with Al Heyman, everyone basically said, well, that's the Kovalev fight, dead in the water. I think that's more to do with it. WBC, what's this relating to? The Garcia fight and...
Peterson being at 143. I'll see if I can find the article.
Yeah, I read yesterday that I think Garcia said that it's not actually definite that it's going to be a catchweight. That's only 10 tentative or something. I mean, I don't even know why there's a catch weight in place, to be honest, but it just looks bad, I think, for Peterson more than anyone, because he's already had that 141-pound fight with Matisse where he got spanked and he still kept his title, and if he loses again, I mean, it's not a good look for him.
I found the article, actually, WBC issues ruling on Danny Garcia's title situation. World Boxing Council has reviewed the overall situation of the super lightweight division. Further, Garcia's request was submitted to WBC Board of Conveners for a vote with the following results. 1. The WBC has granted Danny Garcia permission to participate in his fight versus Peterson over the super lightweight limit on April 11th. 2. The Garcia Postal, I was pissed at that fight being cancelled. The Garcia Postal step-aside agreement will be modified and updated to include the new date of the fight and the conditions for the mandatory fight between Garcia and Postal. Fight's never going to happen anyway. 3. Lucas Matisse has been named mandatory contender to fight against the then WBC World Champion immediately following the Garcia versus Postal fight. 4. The sanction fees for the Garcia versus Peterson special event shall be deposited directly to WBC Jose Suleiman Boxers Fund, which is administered by the Nevada Community Foundation. The fund is currently aiding many boxers from around the world. WBC is very happy to participate in the sanction of these very important fights, which involve some of the best fighters in the super lightweight division. But the fight's a little bit fucking welterweight though, isn't it? So that's the WBC. That's their statement. Right, we've got Robert on the line. You there, Rob?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
That's better, mate, aye. What's, I think you're on to discuss about the Khan situation.
No, I was, well, I can talk about that if you want. I haven't been listening to what else has been said about Khan, but more to talk about the whole, the Gale, vacant IBF, Groves, 2 Durrells, that kind of thing. But whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm cool with.
No, that's fine. Just stick with that one.
Yeah, just, I mean, I'm hoping that the Gale Groves fights happens, you know. I mean, that's a really interesting fight and one that I'd love to see. I mean, even though the Gales look like the better fighter in the recent kind of year or so, you still think it's kind of like a football match, like a derby match. It's always going to be close between those two, you would imagine.
Talking about Groves and DeGale?
Yeah, Groves and DeGale.
I would actually think, see if the rematch was to happen, I actually had the first fight, I think it was a draw. I think I had the first fight. Pretty sure it was a draw.
Yeah,
I think DeGale beats him in the rematch. I think Groves has actually regressed technically. Yeah,
definitely since leaving Adam Booth. But I think it's just one of those fights where there's so much. I mean, that is when you talk about like beef in boxing, and they try and build it up, and like with the fake stuff like you had with Bellew and Cleverly and all that kind of shit. But with DeGale and Groves, that is as genuine bad blood as you can get. I think that really dates back.
I was going to say, mate, I've just seen some of the comments on the chat there. Kyle, you think he's, the last 2 performances he looked borderline shot. I'd agree with that to a certain extent, but is there no some possibility that he's maybe just burnt out and he's maybe just too tight to the weight now?
Maybe he's just fighting down to the level of his opponent. It might well be that he's given it all against Froch, give him a journeyman, and he's like, I'll just coast, rather than maybe he feels like he's already made a statement and he'll save the rest of the fire, as you say, that he might have for the later fights, for the bigger fights. I mean, I don't think DeGale's going to spark him out or anything, so he might well fare better in that fight. See, I'm on the fence with DeGale because everyone's rating him and bigging him up at the moment and saying, oh, he's a bad match for Carl Froch. But he hasn't really shown, to me at least, that he is a true sort of world-level fighter that could beat the top guys like Carl Froch. The question is George Groves still at that level? Because, people assume that, you can bounce back from a knockout like he received, but he didn't. He might be one of those fighters who gives it us all in the one big fight, and then you never see that fighter again. I mean, he did get absolutely sparked out, mate. So, he might be shot. He might just be, as I say, fighting down the level of his opponent. We're not going to know until he steps up again, really, are we? What do you think, Rob?
I mean, you guys don't want to hear it. Shot's not the right word. The correct term, I think, is cobra.
Oh, God.
Yes, yes, Mr. Palmer.
I thought you was pulling me up on my gram, Rob. I was going to say, mate, no need for that. You know what I mean? Not in person, mate.
No,
I think Donny was. I think Donny, you've said it as well. He's probably got trouble cutting weight. See at the weigh-in for the rematch with Froch, he looked like he was actually on the cusp of an AIDS infection. Actually, he
also
looked
looked
very
like
gaunt and done.
with them headphones on.
I mean, he does. No offense, Andy, but he does have that kind of pale ginger skin, doesn't he?
No, what you apologising to me for? You apologising to me for? I'm no ginger. I've no hair.
I think Groves has got his mentality. I don't know. He's the only man who can kind of take a positive and ego has grown as a result of being Cobra'd. I mean, like.
Fuck's sake. Can we get that term banned? Can that term
Did you really
be banned?
fucking just? You just really fucking used Cobra'd as a verb in a legitimate sentence.
Well, Floyd Mayweather says the Mayweather code and everyone laps it up. Carl Froch, hero from Nottingham, says the word Cobra'd and everyone laughs at him. So, but no, seriously, he's gone through 2 massive build-ups. He's got the ego to go with it. He thinks he's a star, and he's got all the talk. And he has been knocked out twice, whichever way you look at it. And I think it mentally has done scars on. So he might be drained mentally. I don't think he's physically drained, but it's a lot of people will point towards De Gea. And the big thing with De Gea is he did have that bad knee injury, and when he was on Channel 5 I remember him fighting a Dutch bloke on Channel 5, and I thought it was terrible. I think was it a hip or a knee or both? Well, anyway, he's recovered from that, and his performances have definitely been on the upward curve since then. And I would definitely favour De Gea if they were to fight tomorrow.
You know what? If you actually go back, if you go and look at the fights that De Gea's had, he's actually built up a lot of experience, like a lot of 12-round experience against not great fighters, but probably kind of European and fringe world level guys. And Groves never really did that. Groves beat De Gea, he beat Paul Smith, and then he was injured or he didn't fight for whatever reason. The only real fight he had after De Gea was Glenn Johnson. But if you go and look at De Gea's resume, he's gone and fought like a bunch of half-decent guys and built up that experience, kind of, although he was on Channel 5, but kind of off the radar, nobody really taking much notice. And that's probably done him the world of good. And that's the kind of thing that a lot of those Sky fighters that are under the microscope more, they can't really do that the way that De Gea's done.
Yeah. So
I've seen the interviews with Groves, with De Gea, with Hearn, with Ambrose Mendy all this week, and it seems like Groves would take the fight, but he wants more money. He wants to be paid what he feels he deserves, and maybe that's just a little out of touch with reality. Maybe I don't know.
It might be, but with De Gea being the mandatory and Groves not in position 2 or 3 with the IBF, I just don't see how it can happen. What's the point of even talking about it happening for the IBF title? Because it can't. Because it wouldn't.
No, but it can. I mean, it's not if.
So they'd have to. Yeah, but people are saying you could really if there was, because I know that there's a Durrell with the WBC. I think that he owns the belt, and then there's the other Durrell who's number 2 with the IBF. It's not as if you can pay them both off because they ain't going to fight each other. So if you pay off Durrell in the IBF stakes, he doesn't gain anything.
Well, the thing, it could work. I mean, let's say you're Heyman and you say, well, it takes Groves away from fighting Anthony Durrell,
yeah.
I think it is. So that works for him. And then Andre Durrell, maybe you say, well, if James De Gea wins, he will fight Andre Durrell, but he'll do it in America. And that could be the way of getting him to step aside and not have to pay him too much money. But then, speaking of step aside money, that was pretty interesting with Billy Joe this week. Taking a step, I don't know if you guys have discussed that yet.
No, I haven't discussed it, but what I would say is, I can understand them taking the step aside money, which is okay. It's 6-figure sum, I believe. But I'm a quietly huge Saunders fan, and I think I'm going to give him a pass on this one because I think his comment about he doesn't want to win the vacant title. I think that for me speaks slightly volumes as to what kind of man he is. He wants to beat the guy who's probably classed as the champion. I know we've got a legit champion supposedly at the weight, but in the days where you got these titles and obviously someone has to be a champion, so I think he's maybe done the right thing.
I got a feeling maybe that comment could come back to haunt him one day if he does it, because he could end up getting that IBF shot.
Yeah.
But if Sturm turns down the shot, because he's gone up to 168, then Billy Joe's the next in line, and then he could fight Ndam for the title. But then if he said he doesn't want to fight for a vacant title, he can't then turn around and take the Ndam shot. I mean, I get why Billy Joe did it. I don't necessarily have an issue with it. The only issue I have is once you've shown you're willing to take the money, don't turn around in a few years' time and talk about if other fighters are making business decisions and ducking you and saying you're not paying enough money, then don't start complaining about it, because you've shown you're willing to play the game. So don't be upset when others play it with you.
Yeah.
I think it just gives Billy Joe the opportunity to build up another experience fight. I know that he has had a few of them with, Ryder and especially Eubank, so it just gives him another opportunity to build up. I'd be
shocked if he fights on that US card. I'd be shocked if he fights anyone that's really worthy of anything.
Are they on about putting him on the undercard of Andy Lee? Is that correct?
Yeah, they're going to put him on. That's what they. Well, Billy Joe seemed to say he was 100% on the undercard, and Warren's kind of said he might be on the undercard. Yeah,
that'd be a good experience.
Speaking to Gary Hyde tonight, it's it could be Ndam against Solomon. So.
Well, that's an easy win for Ndam then, isn't it?
Yeah, especially against a one-legged.
I think Ndam's a decent enough middleweight and.
What title route is Ndam going then? Because Jermaine Taylor got the IBF.
He's been stripped.
It's been stripped for being a nutter.
Excellent news.
Yeah.
Anyways, Rob, we'll need to move on. Anything else you want us to discuss?
Well, no, I mean, he truly is the boxing asylum Nuthouse fighter, isn't he, Jermaine Taylor?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
He's repping it for you guys.
Him and Frank Bruno.
He wanted to be on the show, and he's gone the wrong way about it.
Rob.
Yeah.
You sound just a quick one, mate. You sound a bit like Jimmy Bullard mush. Then you think anyone ever told you that? You sound a bit like Jimmy Bullard.
I don't know about that. I mean, has my accent kind of gone like semi-American now?
No, mate, you're a proper Cockney geezer.
I mean, some people would say that you're Cockney, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you did, you wanker. You said I sound like a Cockney yokel. I'll never forget that. You probably hurt my feelings, mate. I went and had the saddest wank of my life.
I called into one of these shows before. I think when I called into one of these shows before, someone said I sounded posh. I couldn't believe it.
You do sound a bit posh, a bit plummy.
Posh? No way. There's only one posh boy on this show, and we all know who it is.
Don't take it, Al. Don't take it.
It's not me, is it? It's clearly Alistair, who's no longer here anymore.
No worries. Right, cheers for that, Rob.
Yeah, good show, guys.
Take it easy, plumber. Laters, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate.
Right, next question. I need to rattle through these because we're running it just now. That's 1 hour, 90 minutes actually we're running it. So anyways, next question. I'll go to Adam Marcus. So this is from Rocco. No, this one's for me actually. Rocco's actually asking for Andy. Who would you want to win if Khan versus Cotto was made? Definitely Amir Khan.
Yeah, because then he could go on to fight Gennady Golovkin, which would be awesome.
Yep.
Name your pay-per-view price for that fight.
Hey,
you're racist.
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't like Kazakhs.
Alex, another one from Rocco. Frotch versus B-Hop fight would never live up to the pre-fight hype trash talk. Haven't Sky learned from Hay, Bellew and recent letdowns? It drives potential fans away. Which is the best example of this?
What, driving fans away? Got to be Hay against Fraudley. It's got to be.
But at least they finally for the fight Klitschko, so he kind of brought them back in again, you know.
Well, to be fair,
and alienated them again.
A lot of people did buy that though, didn't they? I mean, Hay against Fraudley, and that's the sort of sad part about it. That even though apparently so, quite a few people did, and you know. That's why a lot of people were upset about it, the fact that a lot of people watched it and a lot of people complained about how god-awful it was, and, you know, that's why they stopped doing the pay-per-views after that. But I don't think it does turn people away. It does, obviously draws them in at the start. I mean, look at Bellew cleverly, how many people tuned in. Oh, it's genuine hate, it's genuine, you know, they genuinely want to hurt each other. They say that all the time, and it seems to sell to the casuals. And I think the Hopkins Frotch nonsense will definitely sell well over here, because Hopkins is going to bring all of his usual nonsense and racism almost. You know, I'm not going to lose to yet another white boy, third time's the charm. And, you know, I think it would sell well, despite it being a 50-year-old man, but it would probably mostly just sell for Froch's sake.
Broom82, Kyle was asking, we are all wise after the event, so prediction time. Who do the panel think will be 2015 Fighter of the Year?
Andy, I think you should go to me on this because having successfully predicted and bet on the 2014.
Aye, but you've not got your money yet, though.
I have. I've got it.
Did you get it? Oh, well done, mate.
I got it last Tuesday.
You probably know. How much did you win on that on Sergey Kovalev becoming Fighter of the Year?
£578 something.
I told you, stag do covered.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was happy with it. As of this year, I did ask our friends at William Hill if they was going to take bets on the market, and they are not doing so this year. So obviously they lost too much last year. Sorry. Yeah.
You burned them. They're afraid now to take your money.
Yeah, they lost too much last year on me and my friends in the office who successfully got on that. This year, that's a bit of a tough one. There's not because last year wasn't vintage by any standard, and as with a lot of things that we will discuss over the coming weeks and basically all this year up to this point, a lot of it depends on May the 2nd, even for Fighter of the Year, because if the big fight does happen that we can't mention, the winner surely is going to be in the pole position, and then as expected from all of us, if the fight doesn't happen, which I don't expect it to, never have, then it leaves it wide open. So it's a great question.
That's a fair point, that, yeah.
I've got an outsider one. And it depends on something which we'd love to happening later on in the year, which might not happen. But assuming that he fights twice in America this year against undefeated Americans on HBO, and the Wilder fight somehow comes off, which I don't think it will, and he destroys them both in under 5 rounds like I think he will, then maybe people might stop hating Vladimir Klitschko and give him the recognition he deserves.
Good.
Interesting.
But I doubt Al Heyman's going to let Wilder get decapitated by a 39-year-old, robot, so I doubt it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. I could say there, for instance, that Wilder's released a statement saying he wants unification fights, he wants Klitschko. That's good enough, but what's Al Heyman wanting? That's the thing. Al was meant to work for the fighters. He's not meant to be booking, telling them what they be doing.
The money though is with the Klitschkos. In other words, I think that at some level there's a certain amount of money you can make where it's worth it to take a loss. So even if we all think Wilder might lose to Vladimir Klitschko, it still very much might be worth it to Heyman and to Wilder himself to take the fight. But I believe personally that he would beat Tyson Fury, and I think he should take that first to build the hype.
Mm-hmm. Next question, Kurt, comes from Titchler. If Eddie Hearn had a vagina, would he let Carol Froch's nose fuck him?
Is that Shep?
No, that's Titchler.
Where's Shep?
I've got one from him.
Is that about Eddie Hearn or Adam Smith?
That's about Eddie Hearn.
100% yes.
Donny Paul is asking, why is Khan so dismissive of Brook when in his words it's an easy fight? He would probably beat Brook easily, and I hate Khan.
And I've said it before, it's because he's been through the gauntlet, he's fought tough guys, Brook hasn't fought anybody, and Brook just feels because he's English and so is Khan that it just makes sense to have this big super fight. And the funny thing is that Khan probably may get paid less or at least equivalent to fight Pacquiao or Mayweather or Cotto. But he wants those fights because those are the 3 big pay-per-view stars in the sport. And Khan has his sights on becoming, one of the next big things in the sport of boxing. So he could take a fight that I think we'd all agree. I think everybody here would agree. I don't think there's anybody, even the folks here that don't like him. I think that if you had to pick between, all right, Floyd, Pac, Cotto, Brook, who does Amir Khan have the best chance of beating? Everybody here would say Kell Brook, obviously. Floyd, Pac, and Cotto are tougher fights. But he wants those fights, even though they pay him either the same or less. So if somebody's going after bigger names for less money, how do we hate on him? I don't know.
So we're going to say that Amir Khan is one of the only top-level fighters in existence that cares more about his legacy than he does his bank account, on your conclusion there.
Amen, brother.
Well,
Adam
hats off to
doesn't
him.
sound very convinced by that.
Hats off to him. It's a load of shit. It is a load of shit.
That being the case, then Adam Robert Johnson's asking how many more people will Khan call out on Twitter before realising he's never going to fight any of them.
It could be endless. It is desperate. It is desperate. And the thing is, we've all laughed at the Cotto thing today, but Khan's actually being serious. It's mad.
If Khan cared that much about his legacy, why would he have allowed his handlers to move into fights with Carlos Molina, not the good one, or not the nonce one, who is the good one, a shot Julio Diaz, a shot Luis Collazo. Okay, Collazo's kind of a good win, but let's be honest, other than a shot Victor Ortiz, he's never looked that dangerous in his entire life.
I wouldn't say he was shot, he was certainly past his best.
You heard Hatton, and a lot of people picked him to beat Khan, just saying.
Yeah, well, I'll use my eyes, and Collazo is a waster and has been for ages. A tricky opponent, don't get me wrong, we're not a dangerous one. But it goes without saying, these aren't top flight opponents. If Khan gave that much of a shit about his legacy, why isn't he saying to his handlers, I'm not fighting Carlos Molina? Why is it pressure? I know, but it gets the point across. Why is he only caring now? Or is it because they offer him more money and it's not about legacy?
But that's the whole point, is that guys like Cotto and Floyd don't offer him more money. They would offer him maybe about the same or less than what Brook would offer him. But he wants those guys. He wants the big names because he thinks he can make something of himself in the sport. Again, I'm going to reiterate, if you could take an easier fight for more money and you don't take it, why should you be the subject of criticism?
Okay.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
I was just going to say this. Why is it whenever Amir Khan gets mentioned on this pod, Donny, it's like fucking, honest to God, man. We never hear this much of you sometimes, you know that?
It's like a fly to a cow's ass.
Fucking hell, man.
If you like him that much, Donny, add him on Skype, mate. It'll be very accommodating.
Donny will climb in his ass. Want to melt in it, that's what he's wanting to do. LL Cool Jake's asking, how pumped are you all to get your tickets for Lee Purdy's benefit dinner? Was this guy no up on embezzlement charges or laundering charges? I mean, surely he's got enough money to
No, he got off.
Yeah,
he got off.
Not guilty for that, not guilty.
Right,
is Lee Purdy still fighting?
I think the last fight was against, who was it, Bundu? I think it was the last fight.
Yeah, that's what the benefit is, isn't it? It's like a testimonial like they did footballers, isn't it?
Aye. But I mean, what I'm saying is, if he's been involved in money laundering, surely he's got enough money tugged away somewhere.
Apparently there's Darren Barker speaking and the all-time future greatest of all time, Anthony Joshua, will be speaking. It's worth the money.
I don't want to jump ahead here, but are we talking about Carson Jones and Brian Rose?
That'd be fucked, no.
That's on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, that's next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's prize fighter, which I'll be doing my hair instead of watching that. Keith Smith's asking, with all the fighters War has lost and going against the power of Sky, how has he managed to put on a double world title card, Adam?
He's managed to do it because he's a born fighter and continues to do so, and he deserves a lot of credit for it, to be honest. I thought he's been on his knees a number of times, even really in the last couple of years, especially. I thought he was practically done when Cleverly got knocked out in Cardiff, and he's bounced back, and again he's put on a great card in Liverpool. I think it's March the 7th, I'm going to guess that, or the 6th. So yeah, he does deserve a lot of credit for that. I can't imagine he'll be making loads of money on it, bringing a couple of champions over. Hats off to him, and both of his fighters. I know we can say what we want about Darren Matthews. Obviously, Paul Butler's expected to beat Tete, but he could have. Matthews has got a half decent chance, certainly more than a puncher's chance. By the middle of March, Frank Warren could have 2 world champions on his hands, which would be an outstanding achievement from where he was just a couple of years ago.
I think for Warren, Bill Ives has obviously kept the ship afloat, to be honest. I mean, he's obviously got a huge amount of money, and without his involvement and investment, it's hard to see how Box Nation could get going, to be honest. And even with him, it just depends how long Ives is involved. I mean, if he leaves tomorrow, for instance, it's going to be tough for them, I think. But I'm sure Warren can always open up a new business venture somewhere under a different name.
Next question, just to let listeners know, is our discussion for close controversial fight scores. We're actually going to drop that this week and put it on the next week's show, because we've obviously had a lot of chat this week. Good to get the callers on to break it up a wee bit, but a difference this week. Someone's tired in the background there. I'm going to say that's Adam.
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Robin Whitehead is asking, thoughts on Hearn hinting that AJ Johnson, Selby, Gil Durrell and Mitchell Linares may be a pay-per-view card.
That's not a bad pay-per-view card.
That's actually quite good.
I'll pay for it.
That's quite good, but I'm not paying for it.
I would.
What was, Alex, you feel like you're itching to get onto this one. Would you pay for this card if you didn't have internet and stuff?
Yeah, I probably would pay for that. It's quite a good card, but we know it's not going to happen. Eddie's never going to make a card like that.
But you will see those fighters in with some kick-tough Argentinians that have never been stopped.
Exactly.
Well, Linares' next fight is a voluntary, and it's not going to be happening in Japan from all accounts. It's meant to be happening in America. So.
But I'm about to go off.
Or someo's on life support.
It's my bread maker in the background. Sorry, that's what you're saying.
It's my bread maker in the background, like. So posh. Bread maker.
That's Glaswegian, by the way. That's Glaswegian.
That's the only one I can do. Sorry.
It's a decent enough card that. E-boxing news. Donny. Is Brian the Line versus Carson Burger King Jones a good fight because they're both totally shite?
It could turn into a good fight.
What did he call him? Burger King Carson Jones?
Yeah. That's what he called him, yeah. Brian the Line Rose against Carson Burger King Jones.
Is there rumors of him being out of shape? Because I haven't heard him, but anyways.
Well, he went up to 173 pounds for his last fight, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, well,
weighed in at that?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But where is he from, Oklahoma or whatever? I mean, you have to realize, he's just fine at his walking around weight. You know, a lot of guys cut weight. That's nothing new. The thing is that, you know, I personally think, and I'm predicting it right here, right now, I think that Eddie Hearn has made a mistake. There was rumors floating around that Carson Jones had retired. And once those rumors started floating around, Eddie Hearn called him up and said, how would you like to come over and fight Brian Rose? Now, the thing is, Carson Jones tweeted that he was going to retire in frustration because I think he was supposed to get that BKB, bare knuckle boxing or big knockout boxing fight against Rosado for a lot of money, and then it fell through and it went to Brian Vera or whatever. I don't know what the hell happened. But anyways, he was supposed to get a good amount of money, and he just said, fuck it, I'm through with the sport of boxing. But he never stopped training. He stayed in the gym. He's in shape. He's going to come over there fit and ready. And personally, I don't think that Brian Rose is much of a fighter. And I think a fit and ready Carson Jones proved when he fought Kell Brook what he can bring to the table. That is not going to be an easy night at the office for Brian Rose if Carson Jones is coming over to win. If he's coming over for a payday, if there's something I don't know, if he's out of shape and he just is looking for one last paycheck, then, you know, Brian Rose will have an easy time. But if Carson Jones is for real, that is not a fight I think Brian Rose wins.
Okay. Jack Halbert. Ormond versus Flanagan. I'm sure Steve will get you to cover that. Steve's actually curtailed tonight. Is that fight's been confirmed, hasn't it? Ormond against Flanagan.
It's a couple of weeks, isn't it?
What card's that on?
Not a very important one, I know. Which is a shame, really, because it's a really good fight. But
yeah, I need to get Steve. We'll maybe discuss that one next week. Rocco is asking, favourite Rocky film? I don't know.
Rocky
number 4.
Four's good for just absolutely smashing each other up in just corniness and for being over the top. Yeah, I mean, like the Cold War sentiment and stuff. It's supposed to be really stupid, and James Brown singing in Apollo. It was great for that, but I still like Rocky 1 the best, personally, anyway.
I liked Rocky 2 actually.
I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but I've never watched a Rocky film, and I'm not attracted to do so.
You should watch Rocky 5, Adam. Rocky 5 is brilliant, mate. Watch that one first.
Adam's just waiting for the new one with Tony Bellew in.
I cannot wait.
Ricky Porter.
Aye, what I'm about to say here, I don't think Donny's going to be happy with it.
Good.
I've actually baited him in the past for this before, actually, quite unknowingly. But what was Martin Hurry's asking? What was Arturo Gatti's greatest ever back from the brink of defeat victory?
Oh, what's his name? The one.
It wasn't a handbag strap anyway.
Oh.
I knew you'd read that.
Oh, that was low, man. No, Jesus Christ. What was the one against Kurt Help Me Out, the guy in Madison Square Garden, Mexican guy? Huh? Yes, that was the one where his eye was swelled up, and they told him you need to go out there and knock him out, and his eye was like really swelled, and the funny thing was that they were asking him how many fingers am I holding up, and his trainer and him had a thing where the trainer was holding the fingers down below. So if the guy held up 2, he would tell him, 2. But Gotti couldn't see a fucking thing. And he was like, you don't have any vision left. You need to go out and knock him out right now. And then he did. To me, that's one of the greatest come from behind victories ever.
And his eyes would swell basically coming down to the ring, wouldn't they? He was always swelling straight away.
High cheekbones, wasn't it? Yeah. High cheekbones,
Yeah, he did it. And not only that, too, but I mean, he was notorious for not living the life between fights, and as we all know, that can cause you to swell up if you, abuse alcohol and things like that. And so he tended to swell up pretty early in a lot of his fights. But that's what made him exciting. He's, every fighter has the vulnerability. For him, it was not living the life, and but even if he didn't live the life between fights, he came out and he fought with a lot of heart. And he fought through all of those things, like the swelling and the exhaustion and everything. I mean, that's what made him great. That's what made him exciting.
E-Boxing News is asking again, Dylan White KO'd Nascimento in 2 rounds. Do you guys see Matchroom signing the villain and or making the AJ fight? We said something about this last week, that I think you said that, Alex, there's something taboo about how they don't mention that at all, don't they?
Mm-hmm. They don't want to mention it. They don't want to bring up Dillian White at all because he's the sort of antithesis of Anthony Joshua. He made him, knocked him silly really in the amateurs. I mean, yeah, Joshua, it was very early on for him. He was only in his 5th or 6th fight, maybe even sooner. But Dillian White seems to be, the Rigondo of the heavyweight division for Anthony Joshua. They don't want to mention him. They don't want to hype him up. They've mentioned, Hughie Fury before, Tyson Fury before, very rarely for Hughie, but they don't really seem interested in White. Maybe because White is almost a non-entity, but he's there to be hyped up. There's reasons to bring him up. There's reasons to make that fight. It's purely from the amateur standpoint. They've got a history. It'd be good to hear from Dillian on that subject, and he's obviously a very good fighter. He's had his own few problems, and it'd be a good fight to make. I don't see Hearn signing him unless he just wants to make that fight, but he's got no reason to just make that fight because, again, Dillian's really a non-entity, unfortunately. So
I think he could make himself into an entity. He's going quietly about his business. If he can keep on the straight and narrow, which potentially is difficult, if he can get himself into an English or British title shot with, especially with Fury moving on to world level and Chisora potentially not coming back for a while.
Yeah.
He could make himself into an entity, and Hernal, with the all-time great, future all-time great kind of route they want to take. If Dillian White can grab the British title before Joshua gets there, then there's potential there, but then they might go the Callum Smith route and just bypass it.
That's it. I mean, he's just got to keep winning, hasn't he? I mean, he's not with any significant promoter at the moment, which it can means that he can fight whoever he wants, but it also means that he's not really getting out there. He's not getting the sort of the showing that he needs, the audience that he needs. But if he can just keep winning, keep knocking guys out, and get those titles and make himself known, then he's going to be hard to ignore.
Right, sorry about that. I was just doing a wee bit of typing back and forward there.
Trolling poor Danny.
Terrible fucking spelling, mate. Fucking hell.
I know, I was doing it pretty quick there, mate.
You were really anger typing them, weren't you? Ah!
I think this might be the last question from Shep.
Yes!
What's the biggest single injustice in the history of the sport? Single incidents only. I say Chavez versus Whittaker. You know, he did admit he didn't have time to get a good question into us this week because he's been quite busy. So that's his question for the week.
Oh, fuck off!
Serious? I thought it was gonna be one of those.
Oh, so we're not going to answer his question now because it was.
I will.
I was telling my mate yesterday he's got no interest in boxing whatsoever, but even he laughed when I said about Shep's questions regarding the McCanns, OJ Simpson, etc. He was a big fan of Shep.
I think if you're going to just pick one single incident, the one that usually jumps into my mind straight away would be Park Ji-hoon beating Roy Jones Jr. in the Olympic final, and I put beat in basically inverted commas because that was just corruption. There's been allegations of Stasi involvement in there with AIBA and stuff like that. I think Kyle can add a bit more into this as well.
In the '84 LA Olympics, the Koreans basically staged a protest after a USA guy, I can't remember because he wasn't a storied professional. I'm terribly sorry to him if he's listening. I doubt it. He won the light welterweight gold and he beat a Korean. And basically, the Korean guys said, "That's it. We're taking all of our team home. We're going and we're not going to participate anymore." They managed to talk them around. South Koreans did win a gold in the end. The guy beat Virgil Hill in the final, and I think maybe in Seoul they were thinking we'll get our own back a little bit, and there were some dreadful decisions.
Sorry to Shep there. I keep getting you two guys mixed up. See the two Sheps that follow me on Twitter and stuff, or I speak to online. They need to change up a wee bit actually because I keep getting these two guys mixed up. Shep, if you're listening, mate, we'll say the real Shep, old Shep actually. That's what we'll call him, old Shep. Resend on that question, mate, because my Twitter timeline's just going absolutely bananas just now. There's so many these comments coming back and forward. So
there's a great article. I forget what it is. It's about Bob Arum on Sports Illustrated. I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. And there's one fight where I remember Arum's talking about it, and he says like, it was like the most ones. It was up in Canada. I forget which one what it was. And it was like a heavyweight fight between two like legit heavyweight contenders in the 70s, and one guy completely beat the piss out of the other guy. And then it was one of those like the referee's the only judge type things, and the referee gave it to the guy that got the shit kicked out of him. And afterwards there was like everyone went crazy, and Arum said, "What the fuck were you doing? What kind of decision was that?" And he's like, "Well, Bob," he goes, "he was your fighter. I thought I was supposed to vote for him because you paid for my flight up here." But I'm just, if anyone can remember what that was, but apparently that was a pretty awful decision as well.
Alright, okay. Now, again, no fights next week that we're going to really be discussing in any great detail next week. So coming up, the last part of the show, the Bellew of the Week award. And I hope Kurt's got the intro ready to go.
Yep, coming now.
Good stuff.
Okay, what's the Bellew of the Week? It's going to happen, mate. We're going to do it. And when we do it, it's going to be vicious, mate. I ain't a man dregsing with the weights. I ain't a man taking the last ounces of my soul on the scales. I've done that before. I ain't doing it no more. You can say what you want. Oh, Bellew's not in shape. Bellew looks fleshy at the weight. Bellew's just iced a man who's never been done before. Bellew just feels in absolutely fantastic shape. Bellew doesn't lose 2.5 stone no more each time at a camp. Bellew goes to the gym now 15 stone and just cuts 10 pound nice and easy. I fought Nathan Cleverly in my 16th fight, 15 fight novice. I had 4, the best person I fought was Oval Mackenzie at British title level. I am now, is that 25, is that 26 fights? I've fought some of the best, I've fought the the best fighter in the world in my weight class, one of the biggest pound for pound punchers in the world. I've beat guys like Isaac Chilemba, world ranked guys. Let's see who beats Isaac Chilemba. I've beat renowned punchers, Edison Miranda. I'm not saying he was the best Edison Miranda. I'm just saying I've beat these guys. Who's he beat? Okay, everyone's saying, well, Tony, he did beat you. He beat a guy who basically got a fight because he opened his mouth at a press conference and he sells a shitload of tickets to the Echo Arena. That's why I got that fight. Everybody thought he was going to smash me. Everyone involved with that fight thought he was going to smash me. But when he went to within an inch of losing, and it's a decision that could have went either way, he doesn't want to come near me after it. That's why he couldn't answer the question then when I said it in front of him. Just answer me this: why wouldn't you take the rematch immediately? Do you know what he said? I think he was saying what that Walsh train station was. That long word. I couldn't understand what he was saying. I just answered a simple question: why wouldn't you fight me the minute after the rematch happened? He wouldn't fight me because he believed he was going to knock me out, and he just believed he was going to beat me up, and that's all I've got to say about that. Let's do it right now. We can do it right now, you fucking rat. Okay, what's the value of the week?
Okay, it's back. Donny, go and explain to me what you're talking about.
No, I'm just teasing, man.
Teasing? Listen, you don't tease me unless you've got a pussy. Right, nominations this week. Obviously we have to bring some forward from last week. Eddie Hearn for mentioning that Kell Brook, Frankie Gavin could be built into a massive pay-per-view fight.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That's just evil.
Anthony Mundine claimed that Floyd Mayweather wanted a face-to-face meeting when Floyd tried to get into Australia before he was ultimately rejected on his visa grounds.
Fucking hell.
What's he going to be asking about? Basically his expert knowledge and where to place fucking bets for Aussie rules football or something like that. It wasn't for a fight anyway. How much we do know? Paul Smith and Joe Gallagher have both says that they're going to KO Arthur Abraham. Nobody fucking knocks out Arthur Abraham, for Christ's sake. Say again. Say again, guys.
Yeah, I actually read an interview with him the other day where he said he actually hit Abraham with a couple of really good shots that in the past have knocked guys clean over, and he was surprised that Abraham didn't even flinch. So, everyone knows Abraham can take a punch.
There's only one British super middleweight that can beat Abraham 12-0.
He's granite, dude. Yeah, there's no fucking way he gets knocked out.
I mean, no stoppage defeat of his career was a badly swollen eye. But
Didn't Stieglitz knock him down?
No, I think it was Darrell. Darrell knocked him down, I think.
Oh yeah.
That was more kind of flash knockdown. He was straight, but he wasn't hurt or anything like that. But I think as you say, the guy's nails anybody who fights on with a broken jaw in the way that he did. It's just complete badass,
And Miranda can punch pretty hard, especially then.
Yeah, especially then.
Let's see who beats Edison Miranda.
Abraham knocked him out at 4 rounds in the rematch as well, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I beat these guys.
Who's he beat? Right, next up, Amir Khan. I became world champion 5 years ago and then unified the division. Let's see what you do. Barry Evans then sent this on to me. He says, sent a response, says, not true. You didn't beat Timothy Bradley, who held WBO and WBC belts stripped of lather, and then you lost to King Pete Peterson and Danny Swift Garcia. And then I got one for Ricky Hatton. I actually feel sorry for adding this one in, actually, but it was quite funny when I read it. Ricky Hatton took to social media and basically declared or sent an advert out that his house would be empty over the weekend. What happened? It got fucking robbed.
He was basically tweeting out pictures of his holiday snaps saying, we're having a great time. Well, obviously someone knew where he lived and thought, right, I'll go in there and have my filling.
Wait, did he not have a fucking security system? I mean, how many millions of pounds does he have? I mean,
well, not much, because he's apparently had an undisclosed amount. I've never heard of this before, actually. It must be true. I've never seen one before, but £500 notes. Apparently he's had an undisclosed sum of that stolen, 2 Rolex watches, and some other jewellery and stuff like that as well, and fucking hell.
Yeah, but in Manchester they don't care. They robbed Angel Di Maria's house the other day while he was having tea with his wife and kid. Seriously, so they don't care whether you're in or not. If you're not in, bonus.
2 kilos of coke was also missing.
Did they steal any of his shit shirts?
It's too bad. It's too bad you can't tell the authorities, hey, this guy stole my drugs.
The thing is, I remember, obviously, Manchester and Liverpool isn't that far apart, but I remember Steven Gerrard playing for Liverpool once during a game, and the fucking robbers broke into his house when his wife and kids were still in the house. It's obviously I think it's obviously organised in there, but all that theft and stuff, especially targeting the rich and the sports stars and stuff. But I just fucking think that is quality. How you send it basically a notice to come, just basically says come rob me, and then what happens? You get fucking robbed. So Ricky Hatton. I feel bad for doing that because Ricky's had a hard time of it recently or whatever, but that's just fucking priceless. And I would hate it. Also, I'd hate it to happen to me, and I would hate it to happen to anyone. And sorry for anyone who's actually been the victim of a robbery or a housebreaker and stuff like that. But you got to admit that is slightly funny. Anyways, that's the nominations I've got this week. And you guys got any nominations you want to add?
We're adding the ones from last week as well, are we? Eddie Hearn
Aye. Eddie Hearn, Anthony Mundine, Paul Smith and Joe Gallagher, Amir Khan and Ricky Hatton.
I like the Hatton one, to be honest.
That's like me.
It is a horrible thing, and you do really feel sorry for him, but you have to look at the funny side of it, because it's not you as well.
That reminds me of a friend of mine once, when we were in college, everybody had those whiteboards on the doors, and you wrote, keys under the mat or something. And a friend of mine who didn't actually rob him, of course, but he wrote on his whiteboard, "Thanks, robber." but yeah. But no, I think I would go with the Hatton one. But I got to tell you that Eddie Hearn one about what did he say, Kell Brook and
Frankie Gavin
and Frankie Gavin being a pay-per-view event. That's pretty damn strong. But I'm still going with Hatton.
So it's 2 for Hatton.
It's just going to be interesting to see what Ricky does when he goes on holiday again. I mean, is he going to tweet that he's left a Rottweiler there or Matthew Hatton, Magic Matthew, looking after the place? No one above
Magic
Matthew.
There. Magic Matthew. I mean, the cunt's look good for disappearing tricks.
He'll see the robbers coming. He'll jump the fence.
Kyle, who are you voting for, mate?
It's got to be Ricky Hatton, really. I'd like to put Khan in just for mentioning that he wants to fight for the lineal middleweight championship at £155, which makes me just want to curl up into a pool, hang myself, and set myself on fire at the same time. But yeah, Ricky Hatton, I suppose.
Looks like you could win it out of the park, Donnie. Oh, you've already voted, Donnie, eh?
Yeah.
Alex, getting this kind of some deliberation here. Come on, Alex, what you picking?
I think his burglar's alarm's gone off. He's ran down to check on it.
What did Mundine say?
Oh, he's coming back. Here he is.
Hello. I don't know what happened there. My head.
Your head?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, mate.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who are you picking?
What were the choices? Have you guys mentioned?
Eddie Hearn, Anthony Mundine, Paul Smith and Joe Gallagher, Amir Khan and Ricky Hatton.
What about? I was going to mention someone. I was going to nominate someone. Come back to me on this.
I'm voting for Khan.
Hey. We've already got 3 votes for Hatton so far. I think Hatton's going to piss us out the park unless Alex is going to come back and vote for Khan. I think we've got to give it to Hatton. I think Hatton's.
I wouldn't have mind giving it a nomination to Carl Froch, as I usually do, for his hypocrisy this week. But no, I definitely give my vote to Hatton just because it's absolutely hilarious.
Just don't leave this coveted trophy in his house when he goes on holiday in the future.
So, Ricky Hatton, yep, I think he deserves it. So Ricky Hatton gets the Belly of the Week award for advertising on social media that his house was empty and it got robbed. Congratulations, Ricky.
Who's going to be the evil bastard who tweets him this award?
Fucking hell.
Me.
You going to do it, mate? Alright.
He's blocked me, but you can retweet him or tell him if you want.
He's blocked you as well.
If I wasn't here, I'd love to have Tommy tweet it.
Tommy would actually be incandescent with rage actually if he found out that fucking Hatton's been voted the Belly of the Week award this week. But
I wonder where Junior Witter was at the time of this robbery.
Anyways, guys, I'd like to thank all the panel members, all the callers and Twitter questions. Hopefully you enjoy the Gary Hyde interview, which runs about 15-20 minutes. We'll run a little bit longer than usual. We have a 2 or 20-minute pod this week. We're surprised we actually managed to get it so long. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all again for listening in and getting them part of the crack and getting involved. I'd like to thank Adam Smith, Kyle McLaughlin, Kurt Ward, Donny Baseball, Alex Morris. I'm your host, Andy Patterson, and we'll see you next week. All the best.
Cheers.
Carl Froch, top £10 for band.
Adam robbed Ricky's house.
I'm here. Linear